What's up, everybody? We're live once again. Give me a second. Chat over here. How is everybody feeling? Gonna take a second for people to come in here, but what's up, Patrick? What's up, Angelic Queen? Studded Brick. What's up, Lane? How's everyone doing tonight? What's up, Tracy Blackburn? I see you in my comments all the time. Thanks for being here. Carrie, Alex, Scott. What's up? Not going to be a super long stream, but I just wanted to watch some stuff with you guys, chat about the debate. What's up, everyone? What's up, Sar, Connie, Kilo, Drunken Monkey, LeBron, BR Madden, Just Jamie? How are you guys doing? Yeah, what's up? Hold up, let me run this poll, then we can watch some stuff. Cool. Good day, everyone. What's up, Political X? How is everybody feeling about the debate a few days out? Because I'm not gonna lie, I had trouble like eating or sleeping that night, but I'm pretty confident that we can turn this election around and win. I was really in doomer mode for that whole night, but I am very confident that we'll be fine. The Biden can still win. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Still not too good, LeBron. Yeah, Sar Lux, you were devastated. I was pretty devastated too. Like the moment of realization, no. There's no reason to panic as long as we can all coalesce around Biden. But also the whole media like storm of people saying that Biden needs to drop out did not make matters better. It made matters a lot worse. I think an open convention would oh, I'll turn down the volume, my bad. I think an open convention would divide the party and throw away any sort of advantage that we have. Sorry, let me turn the volume on this video. This is a good chat with Mehdi Hassan and the Pod Save people. Exactly. I don't know how to say your name, Jay Noswick, Noswich. I don't know, but the sky is not falling over one day that didn't go perfectly. That's a great point. Let me find this tweet that I was reading the other day.
What's up, Boston? Good to be home. Welcome to Pod Save America. I'm John Favreau.
I'm Mehdi.
Yeah, it didn't change any of our minds, but like to independent voters watching that, or undecided voters watching that, it's probably not gonna look at this article from 2012. It's after Obama just absolutely what's up? Nah, this debate's really good. Or this one's really good. I watched the first few minutes. I don't think Obama should drop out, but it's really interesting to listen to these people. But listen, read this article from 2012 after Obama bombed the first debate. People were saying, someone wrote this, and it sounds a lot like last night, or 2 nights ago. I'm trying to rally some morale, but I've never seen a candidate this late in the game, so far ahead, just throw in the towel in the way Obama did last week. Throw away almost every single advantage he had with voters and manage to enable his opponent to seem as if he cares about the middle class as much as Obama does. How do you erase that imprinted first image from public consciousness? A president incapable of making a single argument or even a halfway decent closing statement. And after Romney's convincing Etch-a-Sketch, convincing because Obama was incapable of exposing it, Romney is now the centrist candidate. Even as he is running to head up the most radical party in modern history. Yeah, this was written a decade ago, or 12 years ago after Obama's first debate with Mitt Romney. He did terrible in that debate. Historically, he did terrible. So now everybody was saying, oh, drop out. He threw away his entire merchant of clicks. Said, yes, let's all coalesce around a senile geriatric and keep chugging along. The candidate could be a blow-up doll, and you would rally behind it if it had name recognition. I mean, can you give me a candidate that would be better than Biden? Can you name me a candidate that would be better than Biden? You're lost. This is after Obama lost a debate in 2012. People were saying that he should drop out or that he just blew his chances, but he didn't. He still won. Yeah, this was 12 years ago. I was cringing pretty hard too. I mean, it was hard to watch for sure. Just objectively, it was pretty hard to watch. Yeah, there's no reason Biden should drop out. Gavin Newsom, yeah, Jamie Raskin, it's too late for him. I do like him. He's a great guy. Gavin Newsom is also a great guy, but none of these people have been tested as a national candidate. And you always risk, like, see, this is what I've been thinking. So it's really easy to throw out a name and say that this would be like the perfect candidate, but once you actually put them on the national stage, all of their flaws will be exposed. What if we throw away Biden's incumbency advantage, then pick someone like what if we picked Cuomo a while back, and then Cuomo becomes the nominee, and then all of that sexual stuff comes out, the sexual like harassment, whatever he did. It's just, yeah, also Kamala would be the next candidate. I don't think we should just throw away. Yeah, don't change, stick the course. But imagine throwing away the incumbent advantage, and then we pick another candidate, and it just backfires that badly. Biden is a known force. And yeah, Newsom, just Bernie Sanders, nah. Isn't Bernie literally older than Biden? If I'm not wrong? Yeah, it's like the one person who's older than Biden. I love Bernie. Bernie's a great guy, but I just don't know if it would be good. It was an off night. Biden's not going anywhere. Both are Zionists. Does it matter? It absolutely matters. The difference between Biden and Trump? Absolutely it matters. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I agree. Pliz girl. I don't know how to say your name. Tell me how to say that. We make ourselves look weak by talking about replacing. Also, I think a lot of Republicans were coming in psyoping too. I think a lot of MAGA people were coming into our spaces and being like, and just being like, oh, Biden should drop out. They were trying to like gaslight us. Yeah, Newsom's a good candidate, but I don't know if he's a good candidate to throw on the national stage 4 months away when we've already fundraised hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe hundreds of millions for Biden that he has in his war chest. I just don't know. I don't know if that can transfer that easily. But
And I'm kind of am I the odd one out?
I'm John Lovett.
I'm Tommy Visor.
I'm Dan Pfeiffer.
Brian said, Adam, you may recall that night after the debate, you asked us to rank Joe 1 to 10. I said 8. Yeah, what was your reasoning for that, Brian? I would love to have given Biden an 8, but I just don't think it was an 8. But also, really quickly before we start this Pod Save video, does anyone watch Pod Save America? It's pretty good. This is a really good podcast. They're all former Obama advisors and people that worked for him, and now they have a podcast. But really quickly, if you read the transcript for the Biden-Trump debate, Biden was giving fine answers, but it's just the way he was delivering the answers. I'm sure all of you guys have figured this out already, but Biden's answers were great. Yeah, stop panicking, democracy over dictatorship. But listen to this. Let me find Biden's first response. So Biden comes on stage. He says, how are you? Good to be here. Thank you. But so this is what Jake Tapper says. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $12. They meant $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under Trump? Yeah, Tracy Blackburn, this is exactly my feeling. The answers were awesome. The delivery was bad. So listen to what President Biden says. It is a great answer, but just listening to him say it out loud, my heart sunk to my chest. So he says, yeah, hippopotamus. I also, I was going to take notes throughout the whole debate. I actually ordered food before the debate, or I went and got food, and I couldn't eat it. I literally couldn't. Okay, so this is what Biden says. You have to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled, many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach in your arm, it'd be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. Sorry, 1 second. What we had to do was try to put things back together again. Where was I? That's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. He meant 15 million. We brought on in a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I came from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I came from a household where the kitchen table, if things weren't able to be met during the month, there was a problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. So far, this is a great answer. But like, if we can actually, I don't think they're gonna copyright strike me for watching this a few days after. But let's listen to what how he said it. I know nobody wants to relive this, but we're just comparing the transcript right now. We're just comparing the transcript to the actual answer.
Many people here got to take a look.
And typical home prices have jumped.
jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm.
Actually, looking back at it, it's not even as disastrous as people were saying. Like, people were way overreacting, right? Exactly, Miss Wiggins. Miss A. Wiggins, listening a second time is much better. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Office, the
people, including me, were freaking out.
Price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then
reported. For what?
Now costs more than $120.
Exactly, Jamie. I was very unprepared for his hoarse voice. Like, when I heard his voice and I realized that he wasn't going to be projecting like the State of the Union, then nah, Brian, you're saying I still don't agree with your assessment that he gave an 8 out of 10. I concede that he did better than we originally thought, but 8 out of 10 is a little high. Miss Please Girl said, maybe I was too high, but I didn't think it was that bad either. I wish I was high. Damn.
And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
Starting off right here.
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs.
That's fair. Countdown to Power said, honestly, it was a 4 out of 10 at best. That's fair. His feebleness but smarter answers made 45 look dumber. Yeah, of course, Trump looked dumb the whole debate, but when you're able to confidently lie, like when you're able to lie that confidently, it almost feels like anything by, like, and also Biden just failed to capitalize on a lot of these moments. Like, we have this whole document written out about how he needs to attack Trump for this, for that. And Biden didn't land a lot of his answers.
Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do...
Tracy said, I was high as hell and it was still bad. I ate all the snacks, though. Yeah. Honestly, I could see how being stoned during this would make people... I can turn my sound up, yeah. Being stoned would make me cringe so bad. I cringe at a lot of stuff when I... Yeah, 1 second. Oh, wait, you guys can't see my webcam? 1 second. Oh my god, my webcam was off screen the whole time?
Try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done.
Hi, everyone. I thought my bad.
I thought my webcam was up there. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of household.
Did anyone else catch David Axelrod getting rained on? No, I didn't. I can look it up, though. Thank you for the dono. Thank you, Oliver. I appreciate that. Shank? Yeah, no, nobody vote for Shank. Shank Uger is how you say it. My bad. I really couldn't support Shank Uger. No,
or the kitchen table if things weren't able to be met during the month.
That's not even a serious candidacy. You know what's also interesting? Like, I was watching this clip earlier. Let me find this.
In 1984, October 1984, Ronald Reagan is running for re-election. He's the oldest candidate ever to be running for president. He's 73 years old. There are some concerns about his ability, especially mentally, to keep doing the job. Nobody knew anything about Alzheimer's at this point, but there were some concerns that were out there. In the first debate, Reagan against Mondale, there are moments when Reagan seems he's lost for words. He seems to go blank.
The system is still where it was with regard to the progressivity, as I've said.
Walter Mondale says, looking back, he said that was the one moment he believed he really could win that election.
Today we have...
This is wild, right? Like, didn't Biden go through the exact same... Joshua Gerlach said... I don't, if I mispronounce your guys' name wrong, I'm sorry. RFK Jr. won the debate, the real debate. No. Yeah, triumph. He did a Biden. Isn't this exactly what happened?
A brand new race.
They got 2 weeks to get ready for the next debate. There is one more debate, and Reagan has one challenge. He has got to reassure the country that what they saw in that first debate was an aberration, that he'll be fine getting a second term as president. And so he shows up for the second debate. He knows the question's coming. His people around him were trying to coach him. He told them before, no, I got it. They didn't know what he had in store. So the question comes up. The moderator says to him,
You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to...
Yeah, just the idea that after one bad debate performance, and black jobs, you guys know Trump doubled down on that black jobs thing. I thought it was a slip of the tongue. I thought he Trump deserves no charitability, but just during that whole debate mess, I was like, okay, Trump had a slip of the tongue. But then the next day at a rally, he doubled down and said the black jobs thing again. So it was totally intentional. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means. What are black jobs? I don't know what that means.
Problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of
George?
housing, the price of a whole range of things.
Okay, but rewatching this, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as people were making it out to be. Yeah, what's a black job? Do you guys think everyone was overblowing it in the media? Like this New York Times. I haven't even read this yet. Maybe we should read this. Even though it's going to trigger people. 1 second. First of all, F the New York Times for doing that. Like, come on. Totally overblown, right? Alley cat morals. Would you guys buy a t-shirt if I put an alley cat on it with Trump's hair and it says morals of an alley cat? That'd be kind of funny. Everyone's making this seem like it was more catastrophic. It was bad. It was absolutely not a good performance, but the idea that it's a disqualifying performance 4 months out. Yeah. You already made that t-shirt? That'd be so funny. Black jobs was shorthand for taking jobs from black people. Maybe. Yeah, the election is not over. The way that everybody abandoned Biden was pretty, yeah. So President Biden has repeatedly and rightfully described the stakes in this November's presidential election as nothing less than the future of American democracy. Donald Trump has proved himself to be a significant jeopardy to that democracy, an erratic and self-interested figure unworthy of public trust. He systematically attempted to undermine the integrity of elections. His supporters have described publicly a 2025 agenda that would give him the power to carry out the most extreme of his promises and threats. If he is returned to office, he has vowed to be a different kind of president, unrestrained by the checks on power built into the American political system. What's up, Paul? Yeah, everybody totally overreacted. Yeah, Brian, you may have been right that it's not that bad, but also to give Biden an 8 out of 10, I think he deserves like a 5 at best. But yeah, it wasn't like that bad. There was this one moment where Biden tries to answer something about abortion and talks about immigration. That was pretty. Do you think there would be a golf match between Biden and Trump? No. No, that'd be funny though. Yeah, that was a mess too. Why bring up golf? Like, come on. You have a chance to call Trump out for being a threat to democracy and you bring up golf? Come on. 6.5? Okay. If you said that, I think that's fair. If you said 6.5, that'd be okay. But I think 8. 8 is like, you're probably like the only person in America that gives Biden an 8. A quick conspiracy theory here. What if President Biden did this on purpose? Now when the debate comes in September, Trump will be thinking it will be the same. No. If Trump's smart, he drops out of the debate in September. Just looking at it from, if we take a step back and remove, what's up, Fat Cat? Fat Card, are you offended that Biden called all alley cats people with no morals? It's not the end. Yeah, everybody wanted to see Trump taken down, right? Trying to get a bit of a reaction. Yeah. I was just going to make a point, but I forgot what I was saying, but whatever. What was I replying to? No. It wasn't intentional. It was not an intentional, Hi, Adam. We run a podcast, The Sunday Roast, and talk UK and US politics. We'd love to do a collaboration. Absolutely. Send me an email. It's just my email is on my YouTube channel. It's just my name at gmail.com, adammockler@gmail.com. Thank you for the dono. I really do appreciate that. I'm down to hop on your podcast whenever. What was I replying to? Oh, no. Biden absolutely did not throw that debate on purpose. He did not mean to, it was just, That was his one chance. Not his one chance, but that was like his big chance. I don't know if he's gonna have. Yeah, exactly. We were all expecting State of the Union Biden. Let's read through some of this article because I haven't read it, but I think it deserves a read through. Everyone's talking about it. I don't agree with it. The president appeared on Thursday night as the shadow of a great public servant. He struggled to explain what he would accomplish in a second term. He struggled to respond to Mr. Trump's provocations. He struggled to hold Mr. Trump accountable for his lies, his failures, and his chilling plans. More than once, he struggled to make it to an end of a sentence. Yeah, I don't agree with this New York Times article at all, but I think having this conversation is at least like you can have it. Yeah, so Kevin Meyer, you can't help when you catch a cold, but in that same vein, do we really want a cold to be able to like almost incapacitate the president? Not that he was incapacitated, but you guys get what I mean? Do you really want a president that a cold could? And I'm still voting for Biden. I'm fully behind Biden. I don't think anybody else should be running, but like, he does do better with the crowd. Also, how in the hell, we should watch this. This is what we should watch right now. Sorry, I'm jumping around from a lot, but what we should watch is Biden's performance in North Carolina. He was overcoached too. Why would you try to stuff Biden to the... Exactly, he was fine the next day. Why would you try to stuff Biden with a bunch of facts when historically Biden is not good with facts? He is known for switching up his millions, billions, trillions, and he did exactly that. I have family members who saw the debate. They are Trump supporters. They're able to point out Biden had a bad debate, but overlook everything Trump has done and said, yeah, that's what... This is what was wild. I'm still struggling to wrap my head around this. The fact that he was completely fine after, number one, and then he was completely fine the next day. Obviously because he's reading a teleprompter, he's in front of a crowd, but just like the difference in energy, I don't understand. Like this speech was great. Hello. We should all still be with Biden. Right now is the time to all get behind Biden.
Thank you.
I'll hit you back, Gunk. I saw your DM, but it's been kind of a wild day. Oh, sorry. Is this video too loud?
Thank you, North Carolina.
Pondering Politics said if Biden needed to fact check Trump, he wouldn't have time to say anything else. That is true. Shout out to Josiah. I love Josiah.
I'm gonna get in trouble with my mom looking down in heaven if I don't say, please.
What's up, bro gamer? While we didn't see State of the Union Biden, I'm so glad his performance in North Carolina was fantastic. Absolutely, but my concern about that is basically like the debate was probably the most amount of eyes that they'll have until oh my bad, I didn't know it was that loud. Probably the most amount of eyes that either candidates will have until the election day. This debate this speech probably got like a fraction of the views the debate got.
Please excuse my back.
I'll turn this down. My bad.
It's good knowing you have my back.
He's fine. He's totally fine.
Eric, thanks for that introduction. We had a wonderful time spending time with your sons, Kristen and Carter. They're going to grow up to be incredible young men. You would have been really impressed the way they talked about their dad.
They're such a good guy.
They were about what was going on. I was truly impressed. And I ate 2 hamburgers. A special thanks to Roy.
Did you guys see this meme? 1 second. Wait, no, wait, not this one. Wait, let me pull this over. The format is basically saying, like, Biden said, you molested a woman and slept with a porn star. And Donald Trump said, I didn't sleep with no porn star. What did he mean by this? He only refuted one of the two things. You molested a woman and you slept with a porn star. I didn't sleep with a porn star. It's like you're not responding to the part you should be responding to, homie.
Kristen Cooper. Roy.
What's up, Alexander? Alexander. I'm doing well.
Which makes it all the more important that North Carolina elected great governor to replace you, Josh Stein. And when I'm reelected again with your help, I want you to know that I'm not promising not to take Roy away from North Carolina. Where they're coming out, I don't know. And thanks to all the state and local leaders here today, the great musicians and entertainers who performed earlier. Folks, let me tell you why I'm here in North Carolina. I'm here for what?
This is right here. Jock Sherrock, I'm all behind Biden coming back, but that can't happen again. Yeah. All eyes are going to be on Biden until Election Day. That he can't have another performance like that.
I'm here in North Carolina for one reason. Because I intend to win this state in November. Are you going to see that? I think we are. And Roy's right. We win here, we win the election.
Brian said, I think the rebound factor is better than debate. For sure, but like I said, this got a fraction of the views of the debate, which sucks. And like, we don't have the, like, Democrats don't really have the media pipeline to distribute this speech out everywhere, where Donald Trump gives one speech and all of the conservative media is immediately distributing it to all, like, right into the feeds of people. All that I saw on TikTok was clips of Biden from the debate. Maybe the onus is on us to be posting these clips around on Twitter and on TikTok. Joe
Here's
till
how
28.
we're going to do it. We're going to stand up for the women of America. We're going to restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
Todd Buttshine says, lol, you're delusional. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it.
We're going to stand up for the right to vote. We're going to stand up for Medicare and Social Security. We're going to fight for child care.
Todd, the left doesn't have media. I'm not saying the left doesn't have media. I'm saying we don't have the same mechanism to distribute all of Joe Biden's speeches in the same way that the right does. Like, look at what the media did when Biden gave one bad debate performance. If you're going to claim that all of the media is behind Biden, that is easily disproven. This is like the biggest, the New York Times is like the largest, one of the largest publications in the country. They immediately said President Biden should leave the race. So the idea that like the left wing or like the liberal media is as cohesive or together as the right wing media, no. Donald Trump got convicted with 34 counts. And the right-wing media rallied behind him immediately. They took him, they were lockstep. Yep, Sinclair Broadcasting as well. I'll check out your email, Political X, after I hop off stream.
Paid leave and overtime. We're going to keep lowering the cost of prescription drugs, not just for seniors, but for every single American. We're going to keep protecting the Affordable Care Act. Which is why
Joe Biden had a good night of sleep and a whole bucket of ice cream.
More than 40 million Americans have health insurance today.
Oh, I realize this, Marcella. Do you not realize Trump is avoiding all the questions that were asked, for example, about January 6th? Oh, we realized. Trump gave a terrible debate performance as well, but it was just Biden couldn't capitalize on it. Adam, thank you for what you're doing, my friend. You keep me up to date. Let's kick Pac-Man's arse and get you to 1 million subs. I like Pac-Man. Pac-Man's a great guy. He's one of my friends. But yeah, I hope to be at Pac-Man's level someday. That'd be awesome. 1
We're
million.
going to protect
1
our
million
children
subs someday.
and get the weapons of war off our streets. We're going to provide clean drinking water, affordable high-speed internet.
Helmut said, you guys can't talk truth. Here's the thing. After the debate, every Democrat said Biden had a bad performance. Every Democrat came out and said that. We told the truth. Biden had a bad performance. You guys are so lockstep with Trump in such, like, every step of the way that Trump can be convicted of felonies, be civilly liable for rape. Donald Trump can try to overthrow an election. You guys put all that to the side and act like it didn't happen. So if you want to talk about which party can't, talk about the truth, then yeah, I trust Pac-Man as well. We can even watch, Pac-Man had a really good video the other day. We can watch that.
Quality education for every child in America.
I looked up Pac-Man and I got videos of Pac-Man.
And protect legal immigration. And unlike the other guy, we're going to stand up to dictators like Putin. Because America bows to no one. No one ever.
Where was this
Folks, and we're going to keep dealing with the climate crisis.
Did you guys see this tweet? This one cracked me up. An alley cat is live on CNN right now demanding an apology. Alley cat community outrage. Demand apology. Yeah, why did alley cats catch a stray punch from Biden? What did alley cats do? Yeah, Biden is sick. You could tell he's sick. Let me go back. Oh, that is rough.
Folks,
That is rough.
and we're going to keep dealing with the climate crisis. Look, more than anything, we're going to preserve, protect, and defend our democracy.
I know I've already said this, but I'm really struggling to wrap my head around how Biden was fine after the debate. He was fine the day after, but there was like a 90-minute segment where he wasn't fine, and it's just like, wow. We could check out, let's see.
Talk of replacing Joe Biden on the Democratic ticket has exploded after last night's debate performance.
What's
the
up,
question
Cheryl?
we will discuss soberly and without hyperbole is whether that is warranted or whether it is going a little too far, a little too soon. But
It's
there is
going too far, too soon. Way over.
no shortage of examples here. Jon Stewart went live with a Daily Show episode last night after the debate, and he said, this cannot be real life. And he was horrified by what he saw from
Polly Sims, thank you for acknowledging my chat, and I'd like you all to know that I'm really not voting for either candidate. I'm going to vote for Snoopy. I just don't get it, Polly Sims. So, like, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to ask, I can't talk to you in real time, so I'm just going to go down the list and see what you agree with. Polly Sims, if you think that climate, I'm not, like, trying to, like, attack you or anything. I'm just going to see, I'm just going to try to go down the list. If you think that, nobody attack Polly Sims, so we're here to discuss. We're not having an echo chamber. We want dissenting voices. You can go down the list on every single issue, domestically and abroad, and Joe Biden is better on every single issue. So I'm going to assume that if you're in this chat, you believe in climate change. Donald Trump stripped away EPA protections. Joe Biden passed the largest climate change bill there is. I'm going to assume that... it is like giving a vote for the Orange Man if you're not going to vote. I'm going to assume you believe in climate change, and I'm going to assume that you can admit that Joe Biden is better on climate change. I'm assuming that... Let me turn up my volume even more. I'm assuming that you're I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but if you're pro-choice, Joe Biden is clearly the better candidate for people that are pro-choice. If you want education reform or gun reform or any of these issues, Joe Biden is way better. If you want NATO to stay together, to be a cohesive alliance where we're all together, a coalition that we've spent decades building, Joe Biden is a candidate for that. So I can go down the list on every single issue, and Joe Biden is the one that will pass more legislation, that will reach across the aisle, that will have rational takes. And then on the other side, we have pro-union, pro-labor. On the other side, we have Donald Trump, who wants to strip away all of our rights, who wants to terminate the laws and the rules in the Constitution, who tried to overthrow our election, a fake elector scheme. I can go down the list. He wants to strip rights away from transgender people and from women, of course, with abortion. So it's like, I can go down the list on every single issue, and I get that Biden's old, but the idea that not voting will solve any of our problems is, at least this is just a little better, more intelligent conversation we're having here. And I appreciate all of your input. I'm really not against any of you. I think we all need to band together. Nobody attack Polly Sims for saying they're not going to vote, but if there's anything we can do here, I think we should try to convince Polly Sims to vote. Do you see where I'm coming from, Polly, when I say that Joe Biden is better on every single issue? Like, we can go down the list every single issue?
President Joe Biden in last night's debate. CNN's MJ Lee said that when she went to a Capitol Hill debate watch party with other Democratic lawmakers, it was grim. It was very, very grim. Here's what she explained.
I want to bring in senior White House correspondent MJ Lee, who covers the Biden campaign, how they're seeing this tonight. What are they saying?
Yeah, well, Anderson, obviously a ton of Democrats, voters, elected officials were tuning in tonight, really nervous and really...
Who wrote Project 2025? The Heritage... Oh, hey, chill out. Sorry, my dog just scared the shit out of me. Oh my God. The Heritage Foundation wrote it. And you guys know what I learned? Buddy, come on. What are you doing? You want a treat? You want a treat? You get 2 treats because I spilled them on the ground. There you go. But yeah, what was I saying before my dog rudely interrupted me? I can show my pup in a second. Here, come here. Yeah, I mentioned the Heritage Foundation. My dog Sorry, buddy, you don't like the Heritage Foundation? Come here. I'll show my dog one more time just because he's funny. Come here. Come here. Come get a treat. Okay, whatever. Come here. He's staying 2 feet away because he knows I'm about to pick him up. What do you... Okay, he's funny. There you go. All right, so the Heritage Foundation has been making plans... Here, look at this guy. Come here. Okay, now go get your treats. All right. He's a pug beagle mix, a puggle. Okay. Sorry, my dog rudely interrupted. Just kidding. You're fine, buddy. You're fine. So the Heritage Foundation is the one who wrote Project 2025, and let me see if I can find this article. I guess this is a good place to start with our research. Puggle for President 2028. Hell yeah. My uncle had a puggle. She lived to 16. That makes me feel better. We have another puggle that's 13. We have 2 puggles. I was watching Ben Shapiro's show earlier just to see what he said. I hate Ben Shapiro, but I think it's really valuable to listen to what these people are saying. Oh my God. You're on timeout forever, Tater Todd. But, okay. Let's start with Project 2025. Let's erase everything we have in our head about Project 2025. Let's erase it all. And let's start fresh with the Heritage Foundation. Yeah, it's okay if there's MAGA people in chat, but it's just not okay to spam the chat. That's wild to me. Okay. Yeah, it's more than the Heritage Foundation. There's a bunch of people that are doing this, but we should learn about the Heritage Foundation because it's really interesting, actually. Okay, so the Heritage Foundation actually started to become famous and have political power when Reagan was elected in the 1980s. So it took a leading role in the conservative movement in the 1980s during the presidency of Reagan. One second. What's the pupper's name? Denver. Denver, like Colorado. Yeah, we're going to read I actually have Project 2025 pulled up right here. We're going to read through it all. But first, we should learn about the people that wrote it. Here's the mandate for leadership. Here's the Project 25. So the interesting thing is they've been doing these mandate for leaderships since Reagan. They've been doing it every time, and presidents usually enact some of it. But Project 2025 is by far the most extreme version. The most extreme version that we've seen. Buttigieg Denver 2024, yeah. Denver is going to be the VP someday. Denver Riggleman? True. I might have Denver Riggleman on the stream soon. You have a dog named Indiana? That's awesome. I'm from Indiana. The Heritage Foundation has had significant influence in U.S. policymaking and has historically been ranked among the most influential public policy organizations in the United States. In 2010, it founded a sister organization, Heritage Action. Okay. The Heritage Foundation was founded, okay, I was wrong. It's founded during the Nixon administration, but their claim to fame was the Reagan administration. See ya, Cheryl. So It was formed by Paul Weyrich, Edwin Follner, and Joseph Kors, growing out of a new business activist movement inspired by the Powell Memorandum. One second, I keep losing this chat. What's up, everyone? What's up, Gat? Okay. In January 1981, the Heritage Foundation published Mandate for Leadership. That's what they did this time, too. The Mandate for Leadership has been around since 1981, and every single election, they come up with a new version, and about 2/3 of them are usually enacted during the presidency. So Trump enacted, I think, about 64% of Heritage Foundation's policies. Reagan enacted, I believe, about 60. Let's read this. In January 1981, the Heritage Foundation published their first Mandate for Leadership, a comprehensive report aimed at reducing the size of the federal government. It provided, what's up? Thanks for the dono, Nick Rich. I appreciate that. And included over 2,000 specific policy recommendations on how Reagan administration could utilize the federal government to advance conservative policies. In 1981. The cool thing is, I'm going to type out this whole document, basically summarizing Project 2025, citing Project 2025 as a source, going through, figuring out the exact pages, the exact policies. What's up, Angela Queen? And what's it called? Bulwark. One candidate is the enemy of every American norm. The other is old. Exactly. So we're going to go through Project 2025. The goal is to find out the exact policy proposals in it. We're going to cite the page that each policy proposal is on. Money for Puppy Child, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Dona. Helps the stream a lot. What the WTF are you researching exactly? We're researching Project 2025, which is the Heritage Foundation's plan for the next Republican president. Presumably they want it to be Donald Trump. They definitely want it to be Donald Trump. What Project 2025 does is it wants Donald Trump to fire tens of thousands of civil servants and replace them. Yeah, we're going to make this document public. Absolutely. What makes this kid mad? Your name. Your last name makes me mad, Todd Buttshine. Your last name really pisses me off, I'm not going to lie. But it's the conservative plan to essentially tell him a lie. Sorry, I keep getting my train of thought ruined. So Donald Trump basically has a plan to fire tens of thousands of civil servants and appoint trained and vetted loyalists. We went over this. If you look up the word vetted, it says right here on page 14 out of 920, it says, our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. Thank you, Kelly, for the dono. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ryan Gunther. I should talk to Destiny. I will. I've met Destiny. He's a cool guy. Controversial, but we'll talk someday. Definitely, absolutely. I'll have him on stream. It's so disturbing. Yeah, Project 2025 is public. It's a public document, but the thing is, they made it 920 pages. I'm assuming because they don't want everyone to read through it. They don't want everyone to read through it. So let's highlight this pink because this is a really important line. Whoa. No, pink doesn't look good. How about yellow? Todd Buttshine. Imagine being born with a terrible last name and then just spamming stuff in chat. Yeah, Control F is my friend. Yeah, you could see up here I Control F vetted. So, yeah, bye Buttshine. Let me go back a second. I keep getting distracted. Somebody asked me what Project 2025 is. Donald Trump wants to fire tens of thousands of civil servants and replace them with trained, vetted loyalists, Donald Trump loyalists, therefore stripping all of the checks and balances within our government and concentrating power within the executive branch, essentially turning us into Hungary, the Viktor Orban model of stripping away independence from all of these organizations. Think about all of the three-letter organizations that Donald Trump's been attacking. The DOJ, the FBI, he will strip independence from all of those organizations and consolidate it within the executive branch. They claim they want to cut down the bureaucracy of Washington, but what they really want to do is concentrate power in the hands of Donald Trump through means that are honestly incredibly undemocratic. And after Donald Trump has all of these civil servants, he is free to break every single norm in the book, and he can just promise to pardon the people working under him. What does that remind you of? Donald Trump has already promised to pardon the January 6th hostages, which is what he calls them. So it's like, he will appoint all of these people. They will break norms for him, and he will just say that he'll pardon them. And then people will have their rights stripped away. There are things about LGBTQ people in this document, things about trans people. Let's see if I control. Okay, I just control searched LGBTQ. It's found on 6 pages. Let's just go through and read what they say. The next conservative administration should dismantle the DEI apparatus by eliminating the chief diversity officer position along with the DEI advisors and committees. Cancel the DEI scorecard and dashboard. Remove DEI requirements from contract grant tenders and awards. Issue a directive to cease promotion of the DEI agenda, including the bullying LGBTQ agenda. What does that mean? The bullying LGBTQ agenda. And provide staff a confidential medium through which, one second, let me skip this ad. A confidential medium through which to adjudicate cases of political retaliation that agency or implementing staff suffered during the Biden administration. Suffered? What? It should eliminate funding for partners that promote discriminatory DEI practices and consider debarment in egregious cases. Todd Buttshine looks like he signed into his alt account. Let's also look up the word woke. I'm pretty sure they use the word woke in this a bunch. Woke. The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke cultural warriors. Today, the left is threatening the tax-exempt status of churches and charities that reject woke progressivism. They use the word woke in this literally like 30 times. We should even count how many times they use the word woke. Woke bureaucrats at the Pentagon forced troops to attend training seminars about white privilege. Is that even true? I doubt that is true. If they do, they're definitely overblowing it. Like, remember when they were talking about critical race theory and acting like we were teaching critical race theory to kindergartners, when in reality, critical race theory is an advanced college course where you look at things through the lens of race? We're not teaching... What is up with these bots? Does Todd Buttshine want to hop on stream and talk? Is that what it is? Let's keep going through all the times they use woke in this, because these will be all the egregious. As monolithic as the left's institutional power appears to be, it originates with appropriations from Congress and is made complete by a feckless president. A conservative president must look to the legislative branch for decisive action. The administrative state is not going anywhere until Congress acts to retrieve its own power from bureaucrats and the White House. But in the meantime, there are many executive tools a courageous conservative president can use to handcuff the bureaucracy. So this is all about draining the swamp, the deep state, basically. And as we go through it, I want to hear what you guys think about this Project 2022. There's probably going to be a lot of things that there's probably going to be a lot of lines where they go into policy, and I might miss some things. I'm going to take my notes, but there might be some times that I miss some things, or you guys have a different takeaway. So feel free to drop it in chat. Angelic Queen says, I still don't understand the exact meaning of woke. If you guys know, can you explain? Woke is just a buzzword that means... They basically use it as a stand-in for everything they dislike, in the same way that they use the word communism. So woke would be anything that liberals stand for, basically. Like if you're watching a TV show and there's a gay couple on screen, they're going to call that woke, even though throughout all of the history of TV, 99.9% of couples have been straight, but you show one gay couple, and apparently that is woke. That's what you call heteronormativity. Sidetrack real quick. This is actually a really interesting concept. There's some studies on this we can read too. I hate this new like AI thing, but we can read what AI says. Heteronormativity is the idea that heterosexuality is the preferred or normal sexual orientation and that relationships between people of opposite sexes are the most appropriate. So it's basically saying being heterosexual is the norm. That is what they try to claim, but it is not. We are currently breaking that mold, and every time we have a gay couple on screen, we are breaking the mold of heteronormativity. So that's why people are so basically opposed to seeing gay people on screen, because they think that being straight it should be normative. That should be the norm, like how things should be. So it's interesting because like you guys probably have this too, but I've grown up with friends that are gay and they've never in their life been told that it's okay to be gay or been shown representation that makes them feel better about who they are. I've had friends that have grown up in conservative households that have been told their whole life, don't be gay. And when they watch a Netflix show and they see a gay couple that is happy and that is living a normal life, then people like my friend will be like, okay, it is okay to be gay. Heteronormativity should not be promoted in the media, just so you guys know. Heteronormativity is very harmful to gay people that just want to live their lives. Let's keep taking notes on the Heritage Foundation, then we'll go back to Project 2025. I think it's really important that we research this and we have this document ready, because we can talk about Project 2025 all we want, but like if I got into a debate with a conservative and they're like, have you actually read the whole document? I would have to say no. I have not read all 900 pages. I've read a lot of it. I've read a lot of the most crazy parts, which we can go over, but I would be lying if I said that I have read all 900 pages of this document. But that's what we're going to do together over a few streams. 2025 is not going away. Decades of voters will be fighting these horrible ideas. Up and down ballot GOP candidates will keep trying to wear us out with their attempts. Yep, and that's what we're about to learn right here. Project 2025 is not new. Project 2025 is not new at all. I mean, Project 2025 in its current form is incredibly new and unique, but as we're reading here, the mandate for leadership has been going on since 1981 and getting progressively crazier. Don't bark again, buddy. Come on. What are you doing? He's sitting there like, roof. About to bark. Okay. In January 1981, the Heritage Foundation published Mandate for Leadership. I'm assuming this is their first one, the Mandate for Leadership. We can open this in a new tab. It's a series of books published by the Heritage Foundation. Mandate 1. In January 1981, Mandate for Leadership was released a 20-volume, 3,000-page publication. Oh my God. Mandate contained more than 2,000 individual suggestions to move the federal government in a conservative direction, focusing on management and administration. The report, quote, presented an explicit plan for reshaping public discourse on civil rights issues. So it already started as an attack on civil rights. To that end, it recommended the Justice Department halt its affirmative action policies to remedy past discrimination against women and other minorities. Okay. We're making good progress. Adam, I couldn't get through the first paragraph of that BS, but the thing is that you've read more than most Americans have of that document. Yeah, that's the goal. If we're going to be a spokesperson for the Democratic Party, if we're going to be a spokesperson and be railing on Project 2025, the least we can do is read through the document, right? Sorry for that. Sorry. I don't know if that's loud for you guys, or for me that was really loud. Denver, yeah, he's in the background. He just keeps turning his head to the side every time I say something. Yeah, every time I talk about the Heritage Foundation, my dog starts barking. Here's what we have so far. And like I said, after I do all this research, not only am I going to make this document public, but I'm also going to be going over it on a bunch of live streams. Like, we'll have all of these notes cleanly laid out. And this document's going to be long, but we can always Control F and find the exact thing. So far, we're just doing research on the organization behind it, the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank formed in 1973. They published their first mandate for leadership in 1981, which was a detailed plan on how to reduce the size of the government. Since 1981, they've released a new mandate for leadership every election cycle, slowly becoming more extreme. Project 2025 is the most extreme rendition we've seen yet. In 1981, the first mandate for leadership already began as an attack on civil rights. It recommended the DOJ halt its affirmative action policies to remedy past discrimination against women and other minorities. And since then, it has only gotten more and more extreme. Since then, Project 2025 has only gotten more and more extreme. At the first meeting of his cabinet, President Reagan passed out copies of mandates. So the first mandate for leadership was passed out by Reagan 40 years ago, over 40 years ago. And many of the study's authors were recruited into the White House administration. Sandy said, I'm confused by what they mean by limiting the size of the government. Aren't they just replacing the government with loyalists? So the argument that they make is that there is a deep state, a bureaucracy that stops the president from enacting all the legislation that he wants. So what they want to do is actually just consolidate power within the executive branch. So the government has more and more power, and all of those loyalists won't act as a check. So in reality, the government would actually be overreaching and starting to affect our lives more and more. But the way they look at it is that they're draining the swamp, essentially. They're draining the swamp and they're reducing the size of the bureaucracy and concentrating power in one person's hands. Yeah, not the president, just the Republican president, which they want to be Trump. What's up, Jeff? Good evening. According to the mandates off... Okay, wait. President Reagan passed out copies of the first ever version of the mandate In the George W. Bush administration, the mandate came via Project for a New American Century. Let me look that up. Okay. We have another version from, let's see, 1990. No. We're going to go over this. We're going to go over all the old versions. There's so much to go over, and we're just going to be like professionals of running laps around conservatives who don't believe in Project 2025. We will be able to run laps around them. So, okay, this is wild right here. So, In 1981, the first mandate for leadership already began as an attack on civil rights. It recommended that the DOJ halt its affirmative action policies to remedy past discrimination against women and other minorities. So they're saying stop affirmative action, stop remedying past discrimination. President Reagan passed out copies of the first ever version of the mandate for leadership during his cabinet's first meeting. Reagan then recruited the authors to work for his administration and enacted 60% of the proposals in his first year. That is big right there. This is big. Reagan was able to enact 60% of the proposals during his first year. So the argument that Trump won't even be able to enact any of the policies, I honestly don't think is true, because Reagan was able to do 60% of them in his first year, and I'm pretty sure Trump also did about 60% for his first 4 years. In 1984, Heritage released Mandate for Leadership 2, Continuing the Conservative Revolution. The study featured 1,300 recommendations from 150 contributors and continued the original mandate's aim of reforming the federal government and strengthening U.S. defenses. Heritage published its third manual for an incoming administration in 1988, titled Mandate for Leadership 3, Policy Strategies for the 1990s. This edition was edited by Charles Heatherly and Bert Pines. I don't know who those people are, honestly. Thank you, Democracy Matters. Prior to the 1996 presidential election, Heritage published the fourth Mandate for Leadership. Mandate 4 was aimed at Congress and focused on presenting a political strategy for Congress to continue the conservative policies of the outgoing Republican presidential administration. This edition of Mandate was offered as a study material at an orientation conference attended by both Democratic and Republican freshman congressmen held by the Heritage Foundation and Empower America. So what I'm seeing here is that the Heritage Foundation didn't start off Mandate for Leadership 2, Electric Boogaloo. Good one, yeah. What I'm reading right here is that the Mandate for Leadership didn't start out as partisan and as extreme as this new version. We already have that written down. They've released a new one, slowly becoming more extreme. Even though it started out as an attack on civil rights, it has gotten much more extreme, and you can tell because Democrats attended a meeting by the Heritage Foundation. So there was a time when Democrats and Republicans both championed the Mandate for Leadership, which I'm gonna remind you guys one more time, the Mandate for Leadership is exactly what Project 2025 is. It's their newest version, and it's their most extreme version yet. This is it. No, I didn't mean to exit that out. Whoops. Okay, whatever. Reagan was great for the ultra-rich. Yeah, Reagan did make the 80s depressing. And the weird thing is, we can still almost objectively say that Reagan was a better person than Donald Trump, which Reagan was a terrible person, but the fact that he's still a better person than Donald Trump is wild.
Watch this guy Pac-Man, he's good.
Trump shocked. We'll watch this later. We're knee deep in some research, right? Yeah, the war on drugs. Yeah, Reagan was a terrible human being. Or Reagan was a terrible president, but I think he was a better human being than Donald Trump. And that's not me playing defense. It's just me saying that Donald Trump was terrible. All right, let's keep going. So the fifth edition in the Mandate series, it's kind of interesting to learn how all these editions kept evolving and evolving. So the fifth edition in the Mandate series, Mandate for Leadership 2000, included the edited transcripts of 9 nonpartisan public sessions held by Heritage in 2000 called The Keys to a Successful Presidency. The forums focused on how past presidents and administrations... Oh yeah, just as racist. Definitely just as racist. He was caught on camera saying the N-word. That was Reagan, right? Participants included Leon Panetta, former chief of staff to Clinton, Martin Anderson. So we had Democratic presidents helping out with this, still in 2000. Mandate number 6. In 2005, the Heritage Foundation published the 6th edition of the Mandate for Leadership. This edition of Mandate was just 156 pages long. That would be so nice. I really wish this version was not 900 pages. Jesus, we have a lot of stuff to read. When's my next rally? I don't know. It's usually really last minute. According to Heritage, the shorter length reflected the policies and ideas from the early Mandate editions had, by the time of its publication, largely become of the mainstream debate. That is terrifying. This is terrifying. So this is what I'm getting from that. Right now, we're just laying the groundwork. We're just literally laying the groundwork to read Project 2025. Okay. You guys know what the Overton window is? This is what they're saying right here. Yeah, I could cut and paste it, but I'm putting it in my own words. The Overton window is how much you can move the current discourse over to an extreme. So a really good example of this is Bernie Sanders moved the Overton window in America during 2016 and 2020. Socialized universal health care was not even a proposal that was talked about in the mainstream. A lot of Bernie Sanders' proposals then became a part of the mainstream discussion. So another good example of this, let me think, I just had one in my head. It's basically just trying to push, also Donald Trump, Medicare for all of these different things, moving the Overton window to something that is unthinkable. What I was thinking is Andrew Yang, which I don't like him anymore, but do you guys remember when Andrew Yang basically proposed this universal basic income? And by doing that, he was able to move the Overton window and turn it into a mainstream thing. So at one point, universal healthcare was something that was unthinkable. If you could look right here, it was unthinkable. Then Bernie Sanders proposes it, and people are like, this is radical. Then Bernie Sanders champions it even more, and people say, okay, this is acceptable. Now I'd say universal healthcare is pretty sensible and almost even popular, and then at some point it becomes policy. So what we're reading right here is that the Heritage Foundation, let me go back to this. The Heritage Foundation published the 6th edition of the Mandate for Leadership. This edition of Mandate was just 156 pages long. According to Heritage, the shorter length reflected that policies and ideas from the early Mandate editions had, by the time of this publication, largely become part of the mainstream debate. So this is what pushing the Overton window is. During Mandate 2 and 3, these were extreme ideas. Yeah, Denver forgot to bark. He just looked at me when I said his name. These were seen as extreme ideas, but they were able to push the Overton window so far that by the 6th one, the ideas were part of the mainstream debate, which makes me wonder, love that you're educating your audience. We're all learning together, too. The whole point of this debate is to do research and learn together. Why do Trump supporters have to spam? Why can't they just be normal? Like, if they actually had good policy prescriptions, they would just say it in chat, but instead it's just like, Trump 2024, Trump 2024, they just spam it. But, okay, so what I'm worried about is that all of these proposals in this current version of Project 2025 that are deemed extreme will someday be part of the mainstream debate. That is wild to me. You guys get what I mean by the Overton window being pushed now, right? Pushing ideas that were once extreme into the mainstream. Okay, finally, the 9th edition in the Mandate series, Mandate for Leadership 2025. Now we're present day. It's like we just did a flashback in a TV series. Now we're back to present day. The 9th edition in the Mandate for Leadership. Wait, hold up. Wait, I skipped one. The 7th edition for the Mandate for Leadership was posted in November 2016, shortly after the 2016 election of Donald Trump as president. This edition was longer than prior editions, published in 3 volumes, in part because much of the progress of the Foundation's public policy had been lost during the presidency of Barack Obama. Let's go, Obama. Let's go. So Obama basically put the Heritage Foundation's Mandate for Leadership back years, which is awesome. Now we're back to present day. The 9th edition in the Mandate for Leadership series, Mandate for Leadership 2025, The Conservative Promise, also known as Project 2025, was published in April 2023, its earliest publication before the presidential election. That's over a year, like a year and a half before the election. Edited by Paul Dans and Stephen Groves, it has 30 chapters and over 900 pages. This document provides the policy agenda for Project 2025. Project 2025, also known as the Presidential Transition Project, is a collection of conservative policy proposals from the Heritage Foundation. We're going to read more about the Heritage Foundation, to reshape the United States federal government in the event of a Republican Party victory in 2024. Established in 2022, the project has been most notable for how it aims to achieve its objectives. It proposes reclassifying tens of thousands of merit-based civil servant jobs as political appointees in order to... So this is what I was just saying on stream 20 minutes ago. If you guys have been here for the past 20 minutes, this is exactly what I was saying. It proposes reclassifying tens of thousands of merit-based federal civil servant jobs as political appointees in order to replace them with loyal conservatives to further the objective of the next presidential or Republican president. It also adopts a maximalist version of the unitary executive theory. The unitary executive theory is a legal theory in the United States constitutional law which holds the President of the United States. It holds that the President of the United States possesses the power to control the entire executive branch. Wow. Yeah, day one will be... Okay, so... Project 2025 is the Republican plan to fire tens of thousands of qualified civil servants and replace them with people, and we should quote Project 2025 directly here. I think that would be powerful. Let me find this. So, if you just look up the word vetted, you can find. Our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives. Project 2025 is the Republican plan to fire tens of thousands of qualified civil servants and replace them with, quote, aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. And that is on page 14 of Project 2025. They also said it adopts an extreme maximalist, It adopts an extreme maximalist version of the unitary executive theory. I'm going to have to read about this a little bit to fully understand unitary executive theory. So it's basically the theory that the president possesses the power to control. The status quo is that the President of the United States does exercise significant authority of the executive branch, but there are some exceptions. For example, there are independent agencies such as the Federal Reserve and independent personnel such as special counsels. These limits on unitary executive power can be created by the legislative branch via Congress passing legislation or the judicial branch via Supreme Court decisions and interpretation of the law. Exceptions to the unitary executive power in the United States have existed since the founding of the country. For example, the at the time independent positions of comptroller and postmaster general and independent seeking fund commission and parts of the United States Constitution. So let's see. A theory that says, let me see. So, Project 2025 adopts an extreme maximalist version of unitary executive theory. A theory that says that the president possesses the power, to control the entire executive branch with no checks from Congress or the Supreme Court. That's wild. That is what I'm saying. So, Donald Trump will fire tens of thousands of qualified civil servants and replace them with aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives ready to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. Something I'm also realizing is that Donald Trump keeps saying he's going to be a day one dictator. Day one dictator. Isn't day one the exact words that Project 2025 uses? They use day one a bunch, which honestly, is Donald Trump quoting Project 2025 when he says that? Do you guys get what I mean here? Look at this. Our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. Am I just slow for catching on to that? I didn't realize that when Donald Trump said he was going to be a dictator day one, he was quoting day one directly from Project 2025. Do they say that a lot in this document? Day one? I don't know how I'm supposed to search for that directly, but let's go back to reading about this. Also, wait, let me read on Unitary executive theory just a little bit more. The general principle that the president controls the entire executive branch was originally rather innocuous. Yeah, why is it capitalized like a proper noun? That's what I'm wondering. Now, I controlled F, but I couldn't do it with 2 words. That's what I'm wondering. Day one should not be capitalized like that. So that means this is going to be a big event. Like, you capitalize stuff like January 6th or whatever. You capitalize like big events like that. Day one is repeated 19 times. Okay, that's awesome. Oh, that's not awesome, but that is awesome to know because we're going to read through this and we're going to find all of those. Dictator day one. He's quoting Project 2025 there. However, extreme forms of the theory have developed in which the president wishes to exceed the law. Former White House counsel John Dean explains, in its most extreme form, unitary executive theory can mean that neither Congress nor the federal courts can tell the president what to do or how to do it, particularly regarding national security interests. Okay, that's cool. That was our takeaway too. Our takeaway was the president possessing the power to... possesses the power to control the entire executive branch with no checks from Congress or the Supreme Court, which is wild. Okay, back to Project 2025. We've got a thoughts of philosophical outlook, census citizenship question. Why can't I speak? I'm having a Joe Biden moment. Sorry, too soon. Way too soon. All right, let's go back up here. Yeah, this thing is no joke, for real. It also adopts a maximalist version of the unitary executive theory, a disputed interpretation of Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States, which asserts that the president has absolute power over the executive branch. Critics, yeah, too soon, my bad. Critics of Project 2025 have described this as an authoritarian Christian nationalist, yeah, with no checks and balances. That makes sense. Yeah, Denver does have a sibling. It does sound very Hitlerish. Critics of Project 2025 have described this as an authoritarian Christian nationalist plan to turn the United States into an autocracy. Yep, not just critics. Anybody with a brain knows that that's what this is. Several experts in law and conservatives have indicated that it would undermine the rule of law, separation of powers, and civil liberties. Exactly. Project 2025 envisions... Denver's sibling's name is Bella. I can show you guys Bella sometime, but she's with my parents right now. Yep, asking Biden to drop out now, I just got an email, would be like asking a football coach to retire just because he lost his first game right after winning the Super Bowl. Yep, exactly. Or there's the whole thing, it's like asking Alfred, it's like just because Alfred is, what did Jimmy Kimmel say? Just because Alfred is too old to work the Batcave doesn't mean the Joker should be the one. Yeah, Bella's not a city. All right, let's keep going with this. Project 2025 envisions widespread changes across the government, particularly economic and social policies and the role of the federal government and its agencies. The plan proposes to take partisan control of the DOJ, the FBI, the Department of Commerce, the FCC, the FTC, the DHS. That's what I was saying. All of these 3-letter agencies that Donald Trump has spent all this time attacking, he wants to dismantle all of those things, sharply reducing environmental and climate change regulations to favor fossil fuel productions. The old guy sounded pretty good after reading this, right? Would you guys rather have the slightly old guy or the guy who wants to completely dismantle all of our 3-letter agencies, sharply reduce environmental and climate change regulations? Yeah. That's why it's so short-sighted to say that Biden and Trump are effectively the same. I hate when people say that. Search "So Help Me God." Project 2025's director is Paul Dans, who served as chief of the Office of Personnel Management during the Trump administration. Spencer Crichton, A former special assistant to Trump serves as an associate director. Dan's, also an editor of the project's guiding document, explains that Project 2025 is built on 4 pillars. So this is where the "so help me God" part comes in that someone just said in chat. And also, by the way, thank you for dropping that in chat. I love when people are helping me do the research. So if you guys have any like links that you want me to look up, anything you want me to Control F and search, this is a group research project. It's like we're in high school doing a group research project. A 30 Denver Bella 2024, hell yeah. I mean, Denver's about the same age as Biden in dog years. He's like, or no, you know, my older dog is the same age as Biden in dog years. My older dog is like 12, 13. My older dog is 91. My older dog is old enough to be in Congress, basically. And Denver's 7. All right, let me go back to this. A 30-chapter, 920-page book called The Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise, represents a consensus view of how major federal governments or agencies must be governed. I'll do foreign policy next. A personnel database to, quote, be collated, I don't even know, and shared with President Biden, or the President-elect's team, open to the public for submissions. An online educational system called the Presidential Administration Academy, and a, quote, playbook designed for, quote, forming agency teams and drafting transition plans to move out upon the president's utterance of "so help me God." A playbook designed for forming agency teams and drafting transition plans to move out upon the president's utterance of "so help me God." So that means immediately when the president is inaugurated, they're going to be forming teams. Is that what you guys take away from that? What's going on with foreign policy here? Project 2025 favors neither interventionism or isolationism. Instead, it emphasizes that all decisions related to foreign policy must prioritize national interests. Yeah, I'm friends with Harry Sisson and Luke Beasley. It's a tight Gen Z circle. We all know each other. Yeah, Denver will be my advisor for foreign policy. We were up here. The blueprint seeks to institute tax cuts. Though its writers disagree on the wisdom of protectionism, Project 2025 recommends abolishing the Department of Education, whose programs would either be transferred to other agencies or terminated. It would be isolationist, but also, Trump has adopted that exact same policy. Oh, not the DOJ, sorry. The Department of Education, right? This is wild to me. This is so wild. Trump wants to close the Department of Education, joining calls by GOP lawmakers. And you guys remember on stream, we wrote out the consequences of that. If you guys were on stream a few nights ago, before the debate, because we thought Biden was going to call him out on all of this stuff. Get Donald Trump to admit on stage. See, this would have been such a good moment. Why wasn't I at Camp David with Biden? Get Trump to admit on stage he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. Biden needs to highlight the consequences of closing the Department of Education. Thank you, Jody. So the consequences would disproportionately impact low-income students, deny students access to updated curriculum and technology, teacher layoffs, salary cuts for teachers, decline in educational quality, make America a less competitive nation on the global stage because less education, a less educated populace directly correlates with less innovation, negatively impact parents plus kids' social lives. Those are the consequences of absolutely abolishing the Department of Education, which is wild. And also, the interesting thing is, a lot of conservative people have actually helped. Someone just said this in chat, but people like Dennis Prager, people like Charlie Kirk directly helped Project 2025. Trump allies pre-screen loyalists for unprecedented power grab. This is wild. Former President Trump's allies are pre-screening the ideologies of thousands of potential foot soldiers as a part of an unprecedented operation to centralize and expand his power at every level of the U.S. government if he wins in Project 2024. Look at Adam's backyard. So beautiful. What do you mean? What about my backyard? I'm in an apartment right now. Why it matters. Hundreds of people are spending tens of millions of dollars to install a pre-vetted pro-Trump army of up to 54,000 loyalists across government to rip off the restraints imposed on the previous 46 presidents. What? See, like, this is wild. Donald Trump wants to break down every single precedent in American history. I'm going to read this one more time. Hundreds of people are spending tens of millions of dollars to install a pre-vetted pro-Trump army. These would be straight loyalists. Yeah, 54,000 loyalists, Angelic Queen. You have that right. 54,000 loyalists. People that are loyal to Trump and will down. Oh, my background. Okay, yeah, it's so beautiful. I was like, how do you see my backyard? This is beautiful, yeah. This is the world if Biden won that debate. The whole world would look like just incredibly beautiful. My bad. The word backyard, yeah, this confused me. But, the screening, so the thing is, yeah, none of them are remotely qualified. Yeah, I wanted Joe to say something and hold Trump's feet to the fire. But, all of these people, I guarantee one of the litmus tests will be, do you think the 2020 election was stolen? And if they say no, they're not loyal. So literally, yeah, no normal people. Donald Trump learned that if he has people like Mike Pence in his cabinet, people like Mike Pence who will check him and, as he says, backstab him, which in reality, it's thank you for the dono, Schweit Life. I appreciate you doing the stream. I've been trying to read it and get too angry to continue reading. Thank you for the dono. That helps me continue streaming. Oh, the application is public for Project 2025? Oh, we have so much research to dig into. Maybe it'll go into that. I'll find that in a minute. They'll check past internet posts, voting record. Yeah, this is wild. The project founder was interviewed recently. We'll watch that too. We'll watch all the interviews. I know one of the authors of it went in front of Congress and was roasted by Jasmine Crockett. I asked her about it.
You know, Mr. Hamilton, I don't want you to feel left out of this conversation. So I'm going to make sure I ask you some questions. Let me know if you're having problems answering them, because they really should be yes or no.
I love her.
Let's see. You're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And
If you guys haven't seen it yet, I interviewed Jasmine Crockett. Did you come up with that? We had a really good interview. Just look up Adam Mockler, Jasmine Crockett. She's awesome. She's so sick. I was really nervous for this too. I usually don't really get nervous before this stuff. Like Adam Kinzinger, I wasn't nervous at all, but this one had me nervous because she's so cool.
First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
This guy sounds like he's drunk. Of course he's a conservative. Who is this guy?
Okay. And are you familiar with Project 2025's mandate for leadership?
In fact, I am.
Okay.
In fact,
you wrote some of the sections of this mandate related to the DOJ, correct?
Sure did.
And the mandate outlines policy priorities for the next conservative president. Is that correct?
It does.
You've done a great job. I just want to let you know. All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in. And I know that you are doing your jobs here by making sure that hopefully some juror turns on and finds some viral moment of you spewing more of the nonsense as it relates to the president. But as practicing lawyers or licensed attorneys, I hope that we can all agree that no one gets indicted because someone says so. There takes a grand jury, and the grand jury is comprised of American citizens that sit down and review evidence, and they make the determination. And when and if Trump is convicted, it will be a jury of his peers, and it won't be the president of the United States.
Fan base is pioneering.
Boom. She destroyed him. If Project 2025 does get passed, I'll ask for all of us to be in the same jail cell, you know? Not that it'll come down to that. But we can all hang out. Movie nights from our jail cell. But, is this restricting the military's freedom of speech? Codify language to instruct senior military officers not pursuing a social engineering agenda. Yeah, it sounds like, yeah. I haven't read through all of it to like give you a full answer. But yeah, from what I've read. Yeah, especially the way that, yeah, bring the popcorn. We can make it in the prison. Yeah, nah. No. We won't be sent to prison if Project 2025 is enacted. That's not going to happen. But, page 103. Thank you. This is what I like. Group research project. Thanks for sourcing that for me so we can read it. My interview with Jasmine Crockett is live on YouTube. Just look up Adam Mockler, Jasmine Crockett. Needed reforms. Rescue recruiting and retention. Recruiting was the worst in 2022 that has been in 2 generations and is expected to be even worse in 2023. Some of the problems are self-inflicted and ongoing. The recruiting problem is not service-specific. It affects the entire joint force. Appoint a special assistant to the president who will maintain liaison with Congress, DOD, and all other interested parties on the issue of recruiting and retention. And the thing is, keep in mind, all of these people will be Trump loyalists. So when they're saying they're going to appoint a special assistant, it's not going to be someone normal. It's going to be like, think about like every position in the cabinet was taken up by Rudy Giuliani and Mike Lindell. Literally every position in Trump's cabinet by those. But improve recruiting by suspending the use of the recently introduced MHS Genesis system that uses private medical records of potential recruits at military entrance processing stations, creating unnecessary delays and unwarranted rejections. We're going to look into all this stuff further as we keep doing our deep research. Honestly, I can't tell you much about the military entrance processing stations, but we'll do research on it and see exactly what this means. I'm sure it's not good. Improve military recruiters' access to secondary schools and require completion of the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, the ASVAB. Encourage members of Congress to provide time to military recruiters during each town hall session in their congressional districts. So they're really trying to recruit. Increase the number of junior ROTC programs in secondary schools. What the hell? Eliminate Marxist and... Okay, this is crazy. Eliminate politicization, reestablish trust and accountability, and restore faith to the force. But it sounds like by eliminating politicization, they're just going to be politicizing it even further, because read what is down here. Why is the first letter down here? Eliminate Marxist indoctrination and divisive critical race theory programs and abolish newly established diversity, equity, and inclusion offices and staff. What does this mean? This is like a QAnon document. Like Project 2025 is just like QAnon people that made a document. Eliminate Marxist indoctrination. What do they think's going on? Do they think like they're teaching people to just, you love Project 2025? What's your favorite part about it? I bet you haven't read it. I don't get like Marxist indoctrination? Do they think they're trying to indoctrinate people into Karl Marx's teaching? This is wild. Codify language to instruct senior military officers, 3 and 4 stars, to make certain that they understand their primary duty to be ensuring the readiness of the armed forces, not pursuing a social engineering agenda. See, this is what, yeah, this does want to limit speeches. It does want to limit the speech of certain military members. Codify language to instruct senior military members, so they're not pursuing a social engineering agenda. See, like, the thing about Project 2025 is, like, let me write this down somewhere. They use such vague language that it allows them to do anything. Like, they use such, like, you guys get what I mean. The language is so vague. Not pursuing a social engineering agenda. What does social engineering agenda mean? That means something different to you and I, or to us and them. So to me, a social engineering agenda would be, I mean, I get what they mean, but I think the Republicans are trying to socially engineer certain things. Right now, they're trying to socially engineer this anti-trans movement, this idea that the elections are all stolen. But what they're saying here, social engineering agenda, is wokeness. So diversity, equity, and inclusion, being pro-LGBTQ rights. They basically don't want senior military officials to be pro-LGBTQ. That is how I hear. It's so it isn't woke. But Blonde NPC, define what woke means. Like, if a military officer says something like, I think men and women should have, or I think a man should have the right to marry another man. Is that woke to you, Blonde NPC? Is it woke to say that if a military official says a man should be able to marry another man, is that a social engineering agenda? That's the question right here. There's a Trumper in chat who's arguing, so I'm trying to ask him this question. Reinstate service members to active duty who are discharged, no? Well, like, what if someone disagrees? They don't define what social engineering agenda is, so what if the person who drafted this disagrees? That's what I'm saying. They're using such vague language. I think a lot of people in America would say that's woke. I have Republican friends who would say that whenever they see a man and a man holding hands on a screen, that is wokeness, and that is a social engineering agenda. So honestly, like, you get what I'm saying here, Blonde NPC, that they use such vague language that it's open for interpretation, and it's open for them taking the most extreme position. Yeah, being gay does not affect their soldiering. Open to interpretation is annoying. The phrase or the fact that they're leaving it open to interpretation? Yeah, don't ask, don't tell. They want to take us back to 20 years. See, like, not all of this stuff is inherently bad, but it's just the way they go about it. Yeah, how is demanding no gay not social? Value the military family. Military service requires extreme sacrifices by families. Okay, see, like, if we took that at face value, yeah, military people and their families should be valued. They make sacrifices. They should be treating them well. But what I'm guessing they're going to say is something about, like, the military family needs to be the traditional family structure or something like that. Yeah, the language is deceptive. So support legislation to increase wages and family allowances for active duty personnel. That's not bad. That's not bad right there. No uniformed personnel should ever have to rely on social benefits like food stamps or public housing assistance. That is not inherently bad. Improve base housing and consider military family holistically when considering change of station moves. Improve spouse employment opportunities and protections, including licensing reform and expand childcare. Audit all curricula and health policies in DoD schools for military families. Remove all inappropriate materials. Reverse inappropriate policies. See, right there. That's vague language. Remove all inappropriate materials. By inappropriate materials, do you mean just like sex education, like sex ed books? Because I know Republicans that think that all sex ed is inappropriate material, even if you're in 9th grade. So like it sounds okay at face value. Like, of course we should improve base housing and consider military family holistically. But like, it's a catch-all for whatever they want. Support legislation giving education savings to, where did Blonde NPC go? I asked him a few questions. Eliminate, what does this mean? Eliminate politicization, reestablish trust and accountability, and restore the faith to the force. Exactly. What does it mean to remove politicization or eliminate politicization? That's what I'm saying. Who determines what is inappropriate? That's what I was saying up here. Not pursuing a social engineering agenda, but what do you define as a social engineering agenda? Someone said, please read page 5. I know we're jumping around right now, but we're kind of just trying to get a large, broad overview. We're trying to find some of the craziest parts. Then we'll go through woke bureaucrats. Like, yeah. Page 5, page 5. What do you mean? TikTok, Instagram. Wait, let me see. Let me read this. Yeah, Shakespeare is inappropriate. Like, what if they say Shakespeare is inappropriate? What if they say that one of those books, such as, like, what's a good example? Like a Mark Twain book, where he's just like, it's like an educational book, but it's not appropriate. Okay, wait, here's the pornography part, right? Okay, wait, here. Gender, okay, let's read this all. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity. The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke cultural warriors. This part is wild. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity. What? How do you delete the terms sexual orientation? Are you just gonna act like there's no other sexual orientation? That is what I was saying earlier. They're gonna try to restore heteronormativity. The books, page 5. Okay, so down here, yeah, we're gonna read that. We're gonna read books, page 5. Yeah, they're gonna try to, in gender identity, these are both absolutely real concepts. So how are you gonna delete the term sexual orientation? Delete the terms diversity, equity, and inclusion. Gender equality, gender equity. What is this saying right now? This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation, diversity, equity, inclusion, gender equality. You're gonna remove the term gender equality? What? Gender equity, gender awareness, gender abortion, reproductive health. What? How is this all wokeness? Like, this is what they define as wokeness, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights out of every federal rule agency. So they're saying right here they want to eliminate these terms and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights. You guys see the backwards logic right there, right? You're going to be limiting people's speech. They can't say gender equality, and your end goal is to stop Americans' First Amendment rights from being deprived. It sounds like in that process, you're depriving Americans of their First Amendment right. Why would they do that? I don't know, because they're evil. Frodo and Sam get pretty gay too. Yeah, we can't watch Lord of the Rings. Pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology. What? Pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children. What kind of porn are these people watching? I'm sorry that you guys are all watching transgender porn and sexualizing children. That's not the type of porn that normal people watch, guys. Like, what? Why put porn in the same sentence with transgender ideology and the sexualization of children? I'm acting surprised, but I knew a lot of this stuff. Yeah, let's just delete words. Yeah, this is did Matt Gaetz write this? Good one. Is this the type of porn that Matt Gaetz watches? For instance, is not a political gordian inextricably binding up disparate claims about free speech, property rights, sexual liberation, and child warfare. It has no claim to First Amendment protection. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. Honestly, we're gonna have to reread this a few times because we're gonna have to break this down. Their product is as addictive as any illicit drug and psychologically destructive as any crime. Pornography should be outlawed. Wow. This is why we're doing the research, y'all. Because now we have the words. This is what, page 5, okay. Good call, whoever told me to look this up. The people who produce pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. Whoa. And telecommunications and technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. This is wild. Will never happen. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't sound reasonable. Yeah, they're really gonna call Trump out like that. What about Stormy Daniels? See, someone said this isn't, this will never happen. But the thing is, it sounds like it could never happen. But think about it. Donald Trump is going to be appointing tens of thousands of civil servants that are trained, vetted, loyalists. Who's gonna stop him? Who's going to stop him from doing this? All of the people that usually would act as the checks and balances, all of the agencies that would usually act as a check or balance to the president would be filled with Trump loyalists who agree with this. So it just feels like it is totally possible. And I'm not saying this is 100% going to happen. We can't know 100% for sure, but I'm just saying, like, Donald Trump, they'll do everything in their power. In our schools, the question of parental authority over their children's education is a simple one. Schools serve parents, not the other way around. That is, of course, the best argument for universal school choice, a goal all conservatives and conservative presidents must pursue. But even before we achieve that long-term goal, parents' rights as their child's primary educators should be non-negotiable in American schools. States, cities, counties, school boards, union bosses, principals, and teachers who disagree should be immediately cut off from federal funds. The noxious tenets of critical race theory and gender ideology should be excised from curricula in every public school in the country. They're not teaching critical race theory and gender ideology to people in like middle schools or even high schools. Guys, I graduated high school in 2021. We did not talk about critical race theory or gender ideology at all. And yeah, I mean, I did go to school in Indiana, but I guarantee even if I went to school in the most progressive district, we're not going to learn about critical race theory in 6th grade. Critical race theory is for law students who want to look at everything through a new lens, the lens of race. These theories poison our children, who are being taught on the one hand to affirm that the color of their skin fundamentally determines their identity and even their moral status, while on the other, they are taught to deny their very creatureliness that inheres in being human and consists in accepting the giveness of our nature as men or women. I didn't even know this was a word, creatureliness. They're using a lot of random words. I feel like I have a decent vocabulary, but I've never heard the word creatureliness. Allowing parents or physicians to reassign the sex of a minor is child abuse and must end. Allowing parents, fear-mongering. Parents and physicians aren't forcing kids to reassign their sex. Teenagers who go through years of therapy and have a consensus from a board of doctors, a psychiatrist, and their parents are able to get puberty blockers, are able to get stuff that is medically treated. No kids are getting sexual reassignment surgeries. The amount of people who have had sexual reassignment surgeries under the age of 18 is literally less than 1,000. The wording of this document feels bizarre and freaky, like it was written by nut jobs. Oh wait, this document is like if it was written by everyone who was at January 6th and like the QAnon people. The QAnon people are actually, And now I understand how the Heritage Foundation has gotten more and more extreme over the years. Because as we were saying earlier, if you're just joining the stream, the Heritage Foundation has been doing mandate for leaderships since, let's go back to this. Since 1981, they've released a new mandate for leadership every election cycle, slowly becoming more and more extreme. And the reason why they're so extreme this time around is because they are full of QAnon freaks. The actual QAnon people in the Republican Party are, they can take everything away from us, but not guns. Like, they can ban porn, but they can't control or regulate guns. What did you miss? You missed some crazy stuff. I'll just read this sentence. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. Also, I don't know why I didn't mention this. Public librarians and educators aren't showing pornography. They teach sex ed. for public institutions to use taxpayer dollars to declare the superiority or inferiority of certain races, sexes, and religions is a violation of the Constitution and civil rights law and cannot be tolerated by any government anywhere in the country. That's not happening. No one is saying that any race is superior or inferior. They're just making stuff up. Love you. You're doing great, but just don't be afraid of left populism. I don't like left-wing populism, honestly. There are a few left-wing populist talking points that we can get into that I don't like. Some of it's good. Sometimes left-wing populism is good. They're literally just making stuff up, yeah. Thank you, Sue Woods. We're going to be doing a lot of streams going all through Project 2025. We're literally reading through the document right now. Thank you, Brandon Clark. Sorry, I had a long few days since the debate, so I haven't opened my Instagram DMs. I haven't even been on Instagram, to be honest. But the pro-family promises expressed in this book and central to the next conservative president's agenda must go much further than the traditional narrow definition of family values. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. What are their threats to family stability that they're going to lay out? This is why they wanted to make it 900 pages. Yeah, Angelic, because and because man that you own in a debate, and because by it being 900 pages, they think that basically no one will read it. No one will read through this crazy stuff. But if you're going to make it 900 pages, don't start putting the craziest stuff on page 5. Jesus. All right. This resolve should color each of our policies, the resolve to restore family values, they're saying. Consider our approach to big tech. The worst of these companies prey on children like drug dealers to get them addicted to their mobile apps. Many Silicon Valley executives famously don't let their own kids have smartphones. They nevertheless make billions of dollars addicting other people's children to theirs. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Like, if we take a step back, yeah, a lot of people are addicted to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but they're saying that they're addicted for the wrong reason in Project 2025. And also, I guarantee on the next page, all of their prescriptions will be absolutely wild. So, like, yeah, kids are addicted to TikTok, but not for the reason that these people think. And the way to fix it is not what these people think. Create digital dependencies to fuel mental illness and anxiety, to fray children's bonds with their parents and siblings. Federal policy cannot allow this industrial-scale child abuse to continue. See, industrial-scale child abuse, that's not what it is. It's not industrial-scale child abuse whatsoever. How do we fix people being addicted to social media? I don't know. It'll just take a complete rewiring of the way we approach social media, because a lot of people right now, they're not addicted to social media because they're being preyed on. It's because the advent of short form content just is so addictive and so dopamine inducing. So we just got to find a way to rewire it and get people kind of back onto the long form content. And also, they want to talk about like violating our First Amendment rights, but if you want to ban TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, if you want to stop people from saying the words gender equality, that is genuinely going against our First Amendment right. This is a crazy overreach. Yeah, they want us to live like Amish people. Finally, conservatives should gratefully celebrate the greatest pro-family win in a generation, overturning Roe v. Wade, a decision that for 5 decades made a mockery of our Constitution. I could put chat up on screen too. Here's you guys up here. A decision that for 5 decades made a mockery of our Constitution and facilitated the deaths of tens of millions of unborn children. Not true. Conservatives in the states and Washington, including in the next conservative administration, should push as hard as possible to protect the unborn in every jurisdiction in America. In particular, the next conservative president should work with Congress to enact the most robust protections for the unborn that Congress will support while deploying existing federal powers to protect innocent life and vigorously complying with statutory bans on the federal funding of abortion. So they want to take it further. This is what Biden should have said in the debate. Not only did they overturn Roe v. Wade, but they genuinely want to ban abortion. They want to ban abortion. This is wild. And I hope we've all learned one or two things from the stream so far. I've learned a lot. I've read through a lot of Project 2025. I've read through a lot of the craziest sections, but just rereading it and being able to break it down is wild. I've learned a lot about the Heritage Foundation too. Promise number 2, dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. Of course, the surest way to put the federal government back to work for the American people is to reduce its size and scope back to something resembling the original constitutional intent. But the only thing is, this is not what the original constitutional intent was at all, because remember, they're promoting an extreme version of unitary executive theory, which is something that we learned about a little bit ago, which says that the unitary executive theory is a theory saying that the president should control the entire executive branch with no checks and balances from Congress or the Supreme Court. That is not constitutional. If you go back to the inception of America, as we read earlier, the Supreme Court and Congress have been checking the president since the inception of America. So if you want to talk about unconstitutional stuff, conservatives desire a smaller government, not for its own sake, but for the sake of human flourishing. Really? You think more social safety nets from the government would stop human flourishing? We can look at some of the most successful countries and they have great social safety nets provided by the government. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button. I'll never ask you guys, my whole thing, I'll never ask you guys to donate or anything. All I'll ask you guys to do is just hit the like button and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button, interact with the stream, and boost it. That's better than a donation. This is the platform for the party. Yeah, the Heritage Foundation, last mandate for leadership that they... So, let me go back to my notes. The Heritage Foundation, the conservative think tank, published their first mandate for leadership in 1981, which was a detailed plan on how to reduce the size of the government. Since 1981, they've released a new mandate for leadership every election cycle, slowly becoming more and more extreme. Project 2025 is the most extreme rendition we've seen yet. In 1981, the first mandate for leadership already began as an attack on civil rights. President Ronald Reagan passed out copies during his first meeting with his cabinet. Reagan then recruited the authors. Reagan then enacted 60% of the proposals in his first year. Donald Trump also enacted about 60% of his proposals. And yeah, this is exactly... What do you mean stop it with Biden 2024? Biden is going to win the election. We're 4 months out. Biden has 4 months to bring this back, and it's going to happen. I have full faith. Every time anyone has ever underestimated Joe Biden, it has not gone well. No, John Stewart's great, but do you really want another celebrity with zero experience? That's also my problem with Michelle Obama. She's great, she's awesome, but number one, she's repeatedly said she doesn't want to be president. Number two, she has no experience. I get that she was the wife of Obama, but I just don't think... yeah, Michelle Obama... Sorry, kid, that's not going to happen. You're the guy that just said Jon Stewart could run. What do you mean? You said Jon Stewart could run, then you're telling me it's not going to happen. Let's keep going. But the Washington establishment doesn't want a constitutionally limited... Does he have zero experience? Jon Stewart? Jon Stewart's never held any position in government. He's got experience in media and in comedy. Do we really want like a media comedian dude to be the president again? Does Donald Trump have experience? No. That argument works in favor of me. Donald Trump was a terrible president due to his lack of experience. And he would be a terrible president again due to his lack of experience working in the government. Yeah, but following politics for 20 years doesn't mean you're equipped to become the president of the United States. He runs a comedy show. Yeah, Stewart knows his lane. I love Jon Stewart too. I love Jon Stewart also, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, thank you, Bebe. Thanks for doing this. Project 2025 is so dangerous and people need to know it. You are awesome. Thank you. You're awesome as well. Thanks for the dono. The libs turned down Biden for Hillary. That's not true. Biden didn't run because his son died. Jon Stewart was very instrumental in Veterans Affairs. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I still don't think he should be president. Will we have another debate on stream like last time? Absolutely. We're going to be doing it a bunch. Maybe not tonight because I'm a little bit burnt out and tired. But absolutely. I can start scheduling debates and stuff. What do you think about Arnold Schwarzenegger being president? Same logic. I know that he was the governor of California, but also I don't want some actor. Also, was Arnold born in the U.S.? Am I wrong for... I don't think Arnold was born in the U.S., was he? He was born in Austria. Yeah. Do you have a breakdown of the key figures involved in Project 2025? Yeah, we'll go through that. I know Charlie Kirk was a part of it. Actually, we were reading a really interesting article a bit ago. Yeah, I knew he wasn't born in the U.S. So let's see.
CNN president.
Where is my cool article that I had pulled up? All right, let's keep going. 1 second, actually. Let's keep this going. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate the dono. Helping the stream. Thank you. Back to the document. The Washington establishment doesn't want a constitutionally limited government because it means they lose power and are held more accountable by the people who put them in power. I don't know if that's how it works. Giving the president more power will hold people accountable? Like restoring popular sovereignty, the task of reattaching the federal government's constitutional and democratic tethers calls to mind Ronald Reagan's observation that, quote, there are no easy answers, but there are simple answers. In the case of making the federal government smaller, more effective, and accountable, the simple answer is the Constitution itself. The surest proof of this is how strenuously and creatively generations of progressives and many Republican insiders have worked to cut themselves free from the strictures of the 1789 Constitution and subsequent amendments. Yeah, I got you the size spot. I saw your email. Absolutely. We can do it today or maybe tomorrow might be better. I'm really burned out after today. The past few days. Consider the federal budget. Under current law, Congress is required to pass a budget and 12 issue-specific spending bills comporting with it every single year. The last time Congress did so was in 1996. Congress no longer meaningfully budgets, authorizes, or categorizes spending. Trying to figure out which part hasn't happened since 1996, guys, because they do pass a budget every year. Is it this part? Oh, this part. And 12 issue-specific spending bills comporting with it. We'll dig into that. Yeah, this stuff is crazy. It's batshit crazy. Yeah, New England Dragon. So why aren't you behind Biden if you realize what the opposite is? I think you're the one that was saying Jon Stewart over Biden. Someone said in chat, the next administration must not cede such authority to nonpartisan experts who pursue their own ends while engaging in groupthink insulated from American voters. But the only thing is, who's the one that's going to be deciding if these experts are partisan or not? It's going to be Republicans and the Trump loyalists. So the people that are nonpartisan are going to be vetted, and they're going to say that that if you think the election wasn't stolen, then you're partisan. In order to be nonpartisan, the litmus test is going to be you have to think the 2020 election was stolen. Adam, off topic, but do you think Trump is being sentenced to prison in July will help or hurt his campaign? I don't think he's going to prison, but I do hope, since that sentencing is about 13 days out, I hope that it takes some of the pressure off Biden. I hope that basically the media starts to cover that relentlessly rather than just like trashing Biden all the time. All right, let's keep going. Instead, party leaders negotiate one multi-trillion-dollar spending bill, several thousand pages long, and then vote on it before anyone literally has had a chance to read it. Debate time is restricted, amendments are prohibited, and all of this is backed up against a midnight deadline when the previous omnibus spending bill will run out and the federal government shuts down. See, this might be a good... This is the thing about Project 2025. I've seen a few times. They're okay. This is the same problem that I have with a lot of people on the far, far left. They're okay at identifying problems. Like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be doing this the last minute. Yeah, we probably should be housing our immigrants, but they're prescriptions. There's a difference between a description and a prescription. So their descriptions sometimes are okay. Like, okay, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be going to the deadline and almost having a government shutdown, but I guarantee their prescription for how to fix it is going to be like, we have to strip this away from this. Yeah, no, there's nothing good about this. Everything is terrible. I'm just saying, like, some of the problems that they're identifying are real problems, but their prescriptions are terrible. And a lot of the problems they're identifying are fake problems, like Marxism infiltrating our schools, porn, yeah. Ben Meiselas from MeidasTouch would be a hell of a lot better qualified than Jon Stewart. Yeah, Ben Meiselas is a hell of a lawyer, but I doubt he'll run for office. Do you think it's better for him to be sentenced to prison or probation? Is prison more damaging to the left's campaign? I don't know. The fact that right now the leading candidate is somebody with 34 convictions is mind-blowing. Like, there is a very real chance that somebody with 34 convictions will be president. But what's going to be more... Watch the Young Turks? Come on. Come on. At that point, are you going to vote for Cenk Uygur? Oh yeah, Biden's voice was pretty bad. But we rewatched the debate earlier, and honestly, it seems better than we remember it. Thank you so much, Brian. You're the best, man. I see you in chat all the time. Thanks for being here for the past few streams. Why did you detest Jon Stewart? I don't detest. I love Jon Stewart. I love The Daily Show. I just said I don't want a comedian celebrity who's never held office to be in the highest office. I think that you have to be qualified. You have to have experience. Jon Stewart is incredibly smart. He's funny. He's good at being on camera, but that doesn't mean he knows how to put together a cohesive cabinet. I said a few times that I like Jon Stewart. All right, let's go back. The process is not designed to empower 330 million American citizens. That's rich. So this whole document is claiming to empower 330 million American citizens. What about American citizens that want to watch porn? You're gonna imprison them. You're gonna imprison these people. A decision that for I don't know, one page down. And their elected representatives, but to empower the party elites to secretly negotiate without any public scrutiny or oversight. Yeah, and Jon Stewart has writers behind him. It's like, not having experience as a politician could be a positive. It's not like you won't have a ton of... I disagree. I think you should have... Jon Stewart's pretty populist too, but you abhor Jon Stewart? Well, I think he's funny. I just think he's, yeah. Thank you, Wayne, so much. Helping the stream. The Supreme Court just overturned the Chevron decision, which puts the decision-making of federal professionals in the Supreme Court judges' hands. This is a precursor to Project 2025 guidebook, a consolidation of power. Great point. Amazing point. Today was step one. The Supreme Court is playing into Project 2025 perfectly. Let's go Whitmer, drop Biden and runner. No, Biden's good. Great point, Wayne, and thank you for the donut. We're going to add that to the doc, too. What would happen if Biden croaked before election? God forbid. If he wins, would Kamala be POTUS? Well, no matter what, if Biden did it before or after the election, Kamala would be the presumptive nominee immediately. And you guys keep acting like I don't know, not you guys. People keep acting like they're going to get their dream ticket. Like, it's going to be Gretchen Whitmer and Gavin Newsom so perfectly, but it's not. It's going to be Kamala. Kamala is the next person in line. Even if Biden drops out before the convention, it's going to be Kamala. In the end, congressional leaders' behaviors and incentives here are no different from those of the global elites insulating policy decisions over the climate, trade, public health, you name it. From the sovereignty of national electorates, public scrutiny and democratic accountability make life harder for policymakers, so they skirt it. It's not dysfunction, it's corruption. Is that how it works? Because we do have a referendum every few years if you're in Congress. And they're called elections. They're called elections. And despite its gaudy price tag, the federal budget is not even close to the worst example of this corruption. The federal budget is corruption? Yeah, Kamala doesn't really have the charisma. But, like, we can go over this one more time. If anybody is just tuning into the stream or hasn't been here since the very beginning, we read through the transcript of the debate, and Biden's substance was so fire. It was so fire. Listen to what he said. So they ask him about inflation. They say, what do you say to voters who are worse off? This was Biden's answer. Like, hear it when I say it. You have to look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled, many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach in your arm, it'd be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do was put things back together again. That's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs, which they shouldn't have filled them to the brim with a bunch of numbers, because Biden's weakness is always numbers. We created 15,000 new jobs. He means 15 million. We brought on in a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. Wait until I read the playbook section. Oh, I'm ready. I've skimmed a lot of this, but New England Dragon. It's blowing my mind because you seem like you're hesitant to vote for Biden, but you've said in chat a few times that Project 2025 is like the craziest thing you've read or whatever. You said it was like a wild document. So if you agree that Trump's second term would be catastrophic, then why would you be okay with like ceding ground to MAGA? Substance is nothing if you can't present it and show the passion. You need to rally, not mumble policy. I'm sorry, that's how politics works. Yeah, you're right. Style over substance. I know. I'm saying I've admitted Biden had a terrible debate performance. I'm just saying, like, it's wild to me that what he said was fine, but how he said it, yeah. I agree that Biden completely botched his delivery. Completely botched his delivery. I'm not making excuses. I just find it interesting. I know that Biden had a terrible debate performance. Like, we're not coping here. That distinction belongs to the administrative state, the dismantling of which must be a top priority for the next. There's a lot of typos in this too. Is that a typo? The dismantling of which must a top priority. Had they not proofread this? Must a top priority. New England. It's okay if you want to chat, but at least respond to my questions. Can you admit that Project 2025 is way more catastrophic than anything Biden could do? And if you can admit that, then why would you not vote for Biden? Am I going to go over all of Project 2025? Yeah. But it's going to take a few streams. Unless I took an Adderall and stayed up all night. Yeah, Anita, I get what you're saying. Have I not had a bad day? I'm going by his record. But, like, a bad day for the President of the United States shouldn't leave him, like, unable to speak, you know? But, yeah, Biden I totally support Biden. He gave a great speech the next day. I do not think that Biden should drop out. They should not replace Biden, but his performance was pretty bad. All right, let's keep going. When they say administrative state, I'm pretty sure they're just talking about the deep state. I'm pretty sure they're just that's just a word for deep state. The term administrative state to the policy-making work done by the bureaucracies of all the federal government's departments, agencies, and millions of employees. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I could be wrong. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a state and a House of Representatives. That is, federal laws enacted only by elected legislators in both houses of Congress. I love Jared Moskowitz, but he's not ready to go on the presidential stage. Yeah, exactly, Brian Meehan. That is what I'm saying, Brian Meehan. That is exactly, because over and over they use this purposefully vague rhetoric, and that vague rhetoric allows them, it opens the door for them to take the most extreme actions. It kind of reminds me of Donald Trump when he says we should leave it up to the states. We should leave abortion up to the states. And when he says that, he's allowing each state to take the most extreme position. So think about Arizona. They've reverted back to a law from 1864. This is basically what they're doing. They're using this extremely vague rhetoric, and then, like, what was that thing that they said earlier that was just super vague? Something about wokeness. It was basically just saying, like, we need to dismantle all woke agendas. It's like, how do you define wokeness? It's like two gay people holding hands? This exclusive authority was part of the framers' doctrine of separated powers. They not only split the federal government's legislative, executive, and judicial powers into different branches, they also gave each branch checks over the others. Under our Constitution, the legislative branch, Congress, is far and away the most powerful and correspondingly the most accountable to the people. In recent decades, members of the House and Senate discovered that if they give away that power to the Article II branch of the government, they can also deny responsibility for its actions. So today in Washington, most policy is no longer set by Congress at all, but by the administrative state. So they are saying deep state. And what they want basically is for the president to have ultimate authority over this legislation. Again, they want to consolidate power within the executive branch. So today in Washington, given the choice between being powerful but vulnerable or irrelevant but famous, most members of Congress have chosen the latter. Irrelevant but famous? Are you talking about Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene? That's what I get from that. Oh my God, this is rich. This is so rich. Read this next line. Congress passes intentionally vague laws that delegate decision-making over a given issue to a federal agency. Congress is the one that has intentionally vague laws? This whole document is vague as hell. What are they going to say next? That liberals are electing a criminal? It's all projection here. A combination of elected and unelected bureaucrats at the Environmental Protection Agency quietly strangles domestic energy production through difficult-to-understand rulemaking process. Sue Woods, so what can we do to stop this, especially if it's already becoming true? Are we just doomed? You can vote. I would definitely just vote. Just vote. New England Dragon. I've asked you this question a few times, but if you can admit that Project 2025 is catastrophic, then why wouldn't you vote Biden to prevent it if he's like our only option? Bureaucrats at the department. Wait, do they use the word deep state in this, or is it just administrative state? I controlled F, but I can't look up. Okay, whatever. Oh, here are a lot of the contributors. Was Charlie Kirk not a contributor? I know he is in some form. All right, let's keep going. Charlie Kirk's name is somewhere on here. All of the worst people we know. Yeah, but who, New England Dragon? Because haven't you proposed Cenk Uygur and Jon Stewart? Those are your two candidates to beat Trump? Cenk Uygur and Jon Stewart, two political pundits. Like, at that point, just vote Biden, man. I see you, LS. I see you. Like, if you think that Jon Stewart or Cenk Uygur have a better chance of winning than Joe Biden, you fundamentally misunderstand the way electoral politics works. Thank you, LS. Defund the woke culture warriors who have infiltrated every institution in America. Good one. This exclusive authority was part of the framers' doctrine of separated powers. We read that. Oh, okay, we're down here. Trump will pick Hannibal Lecter for VP. Either that or the shark that almost ate him before he got electrocuted. I hope Jon Stewart doesn't run. Unaccountable federal spending is the secret lifeblood of the Great Awakening. Is this a serious phrase? The Great Awakening? Come on. Yep, all 3-letter apartments will be dismantled. Thank you, LS. I appreciate that a lot. I just think it's important that we read through this because everybody talks about it relentlessly, including me. But what's good talking about it if we don't know what it actually says? And now, after I release these notes, next time you talk to one of your conservative friends, be like, do you really want everyone who watches porn to be imprisoned? Or wait, let me find the exact wording here. Anyone who distributes... What was the exact wording? We're going to write this all down. The people who produce and distribute porn should be imprisoned. Do they think that public librarians and educators should be classified as registered sex offenders? Jesus Christ. The Great Awakening in your next D&D campaign? The Great Awakening sounds like it was some like era in the 1700s where it's like the Enlightenment era or whatever. That's what it reminds me of. Nearly every power center held by the left is funded or supported one way or another through the bureaucracy of Congress. Here we go. They're talking about the deep state. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. I'm interpreting, they don't want to use the words deep state, but I'm pretty sure they're talking about the deep state. The deep state in quotes. The administrative state holds 100% of its power. The administrative state holds 100% of its power at the sufferance of Congress, and its insulation from presidential discipline is an unconstitutional fairy tale spun by the Washington establishment to protect its turf. No shark in the Oval Office, yeah. No, but porn is not a good thing. I mean, you can be addicted to anything. If somebody's addicted to porn, that's terrible, but the answer is not this. The answer is not imprisoning people or registering them as sex offenders. Yeah, you can get addicted to anything, but porn's not inherently bad. I don't think there's any studies backing that up, that porn is not good. Thank you, Suburban Housewife. Dude, is this the Republican Employee Handbook? Oh, worse, Yum Foods. This is the Republicans' next plan if Trump wins. This is their plan. This is called the Mandate for Leadership. The Mandate for Leadership has been proposed every year since 1981, which is what we learned, and every single Republican president enacts part of it, and this is their most extreme version. Oh my gosh. Wait, let me go back and read this. The conservative promise lays out how many of these tools, including how to fire supposedly unfireable federal bureaucrats, drain the swamp is what they're saying, how to shutter wasteful, corrupt bureaus and offices, how to muzzle woke propaganda at every level of the government. Where can I read through myself? If you look up Project 2025 Heritage Foundation. It's 900 pages, so like most people won't read the whole thing. Literally, I'll show you. Google Project 2025 right here. You'll see Project 2025. You'll see about, and then the playbook. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, the Mandate for Leadership PDF is what you want to download. Here's the 180-day playbook. Yeah, it's not. It's like 900 pages long. Maybe 100 pages are just like an intro, but yeah, it's up here. It says 900. Muzzle woke propaganda at every level of the government. What is woke propaganda defined as? Again, this vague term. What's up, CS? All right, let's keep going. Where were we? Oh, that was the next page. Okay. Let's be clear. The most egregious regulations promulgated by the current administration come from one place, the Oval Office. The president cannot hide behind the agencies. Woke is Adam Mockler. I'd say I'm woke. The president cannot hide behind the agencies, as his many executive orders make clear. His is the responsibility for the regulations that threaten American communities, schools, and families. A conservative president must move swiftly to do away with these vast abuses of presidential power and remove the career and political bureaucrats who fuel it. Oh yeah, Stephen Miller, however you say it, absolutely. That's all him. That's all him. Not all him, but he has a big part to play in this. And right here, they're talking about consolidating power within the executive branch, giving the president more and more. Yeah, you're in a chat full of woke people. Whoever called me woke, you're in a chat full of woke people. By woke, we mean we're okay with gay people getting married and trans people having access to health care. Woke is everyone. Oh, Michael, maybe you're on our side. I thought you were talking trash. Thank you, Joanna Bell. New England Dragon. We should have started replacing Biden 2 years ago. Yeah, you're throwing a lot of hypotheticals in chat, like Jon Stewart should run, vote for Zhank. We should have replaced Biden, but like, we need to deal with the reality, and how do we move forward from here? We move forward by coalescing around our strongest candidate. All right, let's keep going. 1 second, I just got a text. Properly considered, restoring fiscal limits and constitutional accountability to the federal government is a continuation of restoring national sovereignty to the American people. In foreign affairs, global strategy, federal budgeting, and policymaking, the same pattern emerges again and again. Ruling elites slash and tear out restrictions and accountability placed on them. They centralize power up and away from the American people to supranational treaties. We're all a little on edge today. Yeah, honestly, after the debate, I barely slept, and I went to bed at about 5 a.m. and I woke up at 7 a.m. so I could work and research and make videos. And that was yesterday. I got a good night of sleep last night, but I did not sleep after the debate. Silent Storm, we're reading Project 2025 right now. Project 2025 is the conservative agenda if Trump wins to basically turn our country into a dictatorship. Since some people are new and just joining, let's go back and read the craziest lines, some of the lines that were crazy. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity. It says the next conservative president must target hard woke culture warriors. It starts with deleting terms like gender identity, sexual orientation, diversity, equity, inclusion, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness. They want to eliminate the term gender completely. Abortion, reproductive health. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce it and distribute it should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. It's wild. It's wild stuff. Let's go back down here. Properly considered, restoring fiscal limits and constitutional accountability to the federal government is a continuation of restoring national sovereignty to the American people. In foreign affairs, global strategy, federal budgeting, and policymaking, the same pattern emerges again and again. Ruling elites slash and tear at restrictions. Anything about weed? That's a good question. I don't see anything about marijuana. Nothing about weed. Drugs? The availability of illicit drugs in the United States. Preventing drug use before it starts. I mean, I'm assuming, thank you, Anthony. I'm assuming when they talk about drugs, since they think that marijuana is like Schedule 1, right? I'm assuming if they talk about Schedule 1 drugs, they're going to include marijuana. But yeah, good question. I can excuse turning our country into a dictatorship, but banning weed, that's too far for me. That was a joke. That was obviously a joke. All right, let's keep going. Where's my yellow highlights? Where are my yellow highlights? How did I lose this? Okay, we're getting there. How do you think they're going to enforce these bans? There's a few ways. So, like, basically, right now, all of the different ideas that they have would not be possible with the current checks and balances we have. That's why on day one, their goal is to appoint tens of thousands of loyal, vetted civil servants, people who think the election was stolen. Did Biden reschedule weed? Let me look that up. I thought he wanted to, but he hasn't yet. I don't think he has yet. I think he wanted to. Basically, Donald Trump wants to appoint a bunch of people, create his own deep state. I think Alex Jones is on more than weed. Oh, pot has been rescheduled? I thought they... Oh, it was rescheduled? Let's go. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought they wanted to do it a few months back, but I didn't know they actually did it. That's great. Let's go, Biden. Honestly, if Biden wants to have a better chance of winning the election, he needs to start running on legalizing weed. We all agree, right? I know there's a bunch of stoners in chat, but like, he needs to run on legalizing weed. But in the same vein, it might be unpopular with like the older segment of voters that he needs to win over. Maybe that'll like alienate Nikki Haley voters, but everyone's cool with weed nowadays. That would also win the youth vote. But then people would be like, oh, they're just pandering. New England. Hey kid, how about you give me a reason to vote for old Joe? Because the cabinet that Joe Biden, you're just like trolling in chat without adding any substance. The cabinet that Biden will put around him will be the most progressive cabinet in the history of America. Even if we admit that Joe Biden is incredibly old, he's so old, even if we say that he's going to be senile, don't you want this progressive cabinet that he'll be putting around him rather than Project 2025? If you want an argument, what, like just this entire stream is the argument. One of the things you said earlier, Dragon, was that Project 2025 is terrifying or wild or whatever. And if you can admit that, then you can admit that this progressive administration would be way better. I'm 60 years old and I think I'm too old to run for president. That's your problem. You also haven't spent the past like 50 years maneuvering through the government. Yeah, Dragon, add some substance to the chat, man. You're cycling through talking points. Off subject, but what part of Indiana are you from? LaPorte. Oh, you're from LaPorte? I grew up in Valparaiso, but I live in Chicago now. I moved to Chicago for school. I didn't think they... Let me look this up again. The DOJ proposed rescheduling marijuana, but the outlook for finalization is hazy. So they're trying to reschedule it, but they don't know when it's going to be done. They proposed it. But they haven't done it yet. They're anticipated to change it to Schedule 3, but they haven't done it yet. I remember reading about it, but I didn't think they actually did it yet. I think there's some holdups. Yeah, I know that old folks smoke weed too, but maybe not the old folks that we need to win over. Well, this late in the game, what else do we got but hypotheticals? We have Biden. We have a candidate who's beat Trump already. It's just like, yeah. I can't find the headline that it's already been done. All the headlines I'm finding are just DOJ proposes rescheduling marijuana, but they haven't done it yet. There is substantial evidence that marijuana, this was like a month ago. There's substantial evidence that it does not, but they haven't actually done it yet, from what I can read. It's connected to reducing sentences. Make a living Google Doc that everyone can add to. There could be a way to do that, but if I dropped a link, there would be a lot of MAGA trolls like deleting stuff, adding stuff. I think that it's better if you guys just like drop stuff in chat, or you can email me or whatever, but like having a document that everyone can add to might be a mess, honestly. I'm going to make this document public and you guys can like make your own versions. Do you think it's possible Biden's debate performance might have been it being 9 o'clock? It's a bad argument too, because don't you want a president who's fine all 24 hours. Yeah, I think it being late did affect him. I'm sure it didn't help. But that also just hurts our argument, right? Because like you want your president to be able to quickly respond to a problem that's happening in a different time zone across the world. No, Dragon's Aurora. You're Midas Mighty. We're not talking to you. We're talking to this other guy called New England Dragon. Not you, Dragon's Aurora. There's another guy in chat, New England Dragon. The State of the Union was late, yeah. All right, let's keep going. The next finally, the president can restore public confidence and accountability to all of our most important government function of all, national defense. The American people desire a military full of highly skilled servicemen and women who can protect the homeland and our interests overseas. The next conservative president must end the left's social experiment with military. What do you mean the conservative president must end the left's social experimentation with the military? See, like, it's all of this vague wording. It's wild. Adam, I'm a transgender veteran, disabled, clean record. How would I resist being labeled a sexual offender for just existing in a public space with this? Well, right now, you're fine. Don't freak yourself out too much. I know a lot of people are panicking, but you're okay. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if Project 2025 is enacted, I would just say be low key. And I hate to say that. I do not want to be saying that, but it's like, yeah, just... I don't know. I don't want to give advice to a hypothetical where it's like I'm freaking people out. But yeah, if you're like a minority like that, like just be low key. Hope I can replay this. Yeah, you'll be able to replay the full thing. I might make a video out of it. I might condense this into a video because I did a debate on stream the other night and I turned that into a video and it did really well. Yeah, you don't have to panic yourself, but like... No. I'm not saying go back in the closet. I'm just saying be like low key. Like don't be posting on social media that like... I don't want to give advice that freaks people out, but I'm just saying you have to be low key. I don't have any editors. It's all, this whole channel is just run by me. No, not Anne Frank. No. You don't have to go hide and like, no, I'm just saying like, I don't know. If I were gay, yeah, be aware. If I were gay in Project 2020, yeah, he shouldn't have to be low key, of course. They shouldn't have to be low key. I don't know if you're he or she, but like, yeah, I'm just saying, if they take the country back 50 years, you're gonna, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to just say something that's gonna panic people out. Also, don't be afraid. You'll be fine. You have all of us around you. You have a great community here, number one. Number two, more of America is liberal than not. Skate away the day. I don't need one right now, but thank you for the offer. Yeah, I'm going to make some shorts out of this too. That would be really good, actually. I think there could be a good short earlier when I was reading about banning pornography. Don't you notice how they say the next conservative president and not just Trump? That means even if Trump loses, the next president after him might enact this plan. Yeah. Redo 4K. That's a really good point, and that goes back to the research we did earlier. If you're just jumping on the stream, basically, they've been making, this is called the Mandate for Leadership. People call it Project 2025, but if you can read up on the top left right here, it's called the Mandate for Leadership. They've been making Mandate for Leaderships since 1981. Since 1981, they've been doing different versions of this Mandate for Leadership, and Reagan enacted the first one. Reagan enacted 60% of it, and then since 1981, they've released a new Mandate for Leadership every election cycle for every Republican. Project 2025 is the most extreme rendition we've seen yet. Yeah, it's a mandate on Republican leadership. I keep saying Trump. I keep saying that Trump is going to be the one that like would enact this, but I'm just, it is for all Republicans. I'm just saying Trump because they want it to be Trump. Okay, it's getting late here in Chicago. It's almost 9, so I think I'm gonna end stream. I'm not gonna lie, I could chill with you guys all night. You guys are the best, literally the best chat ever. I could chill with you guys for the next 12 hours, but I do need to go eat dinner, and get some sleep. It's been a rough few days for all of us. Everybody go take care of yourself. Go have a good night. I'm going to go chill out. It's almost 10 p.m. for some of you guys. For me, it's almost 9. I have to go walk my dog. I have to go watch some shows. I want to watch The Boys. Go watch Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. Let's do this tomorrow. I love all of you guys. I'll turn this into a video. Have a great night. Don't freak out too much, guys. Don't freak out. We're going to coalesce around Biden. We're going to win. Nighty night, everyone. Peace out. Love you all.